Sound check, please. Doing my usual sound check. If someone can confirm that the audio is good. Another bad one, guys. Someone in the chat, please just confirm that the audio is working. Thank you, Ron. You guys already know, win or lose, we booze. Tonight's Sorrow Beers brought to you by Heineken. Oh my God, guys. You're not even going to believe this. I tried to do a nice little crack and I broke the tab off the beer. And when it rains, it pours, guys. I can't even, after tonight's game, I can't even open a beer correctly. Oh my God. This is terrible. Jeez. I can't even have a beer. You can't make this shit up, guys. Look at this. Oh, it's spilling out. The tab snapped off. I can't even. All right, hold on one second. I'm getting a backup. This is crazy. I'll be right back. Backup beer. How unlucky. How unlucky after tonight's game. Hopefully, let's see if this one. There we go. These Sorrow Beers brought to you by the fine people at Corona. La Cerveza Más Fina. And cheers to my Devils fans. Tonight sucked. Once again, another sorrow. Drowning my sorrows in some suds. So cheers to you guys. Welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And the New Jersey Devils head into the Rock tonight on a 3-game skid, looking for some sort of answer, something to quiet the detractors, the haters, the doomsdayers that are flooding the internet by storm. They're on forums, they're on web pages, they're on YouTube channels. They are out in full force, led by their president, SST, and are just so down on the team. 3 games in a row, looking for a big statement tonight against the New York Islanders. And the best they could do was tickle our balls with a comeback attempt late in the game with the goalie pulled to force overtime and get a loser point. That was the best they could do, unfortunately. It wasn't the worst game by the Devils, but it wasn't the best. It was just a so-so outing where stupid mistakes cost them once again. And, we get to overtime and lose. Completely terrible. Real quick, first period, Islanders score first in this one. We've been scoring first and still losing, so I thought maybe to change it up a bit, maybe if we gave up the first goal. Oh, hold on one second. I just have to press the button on something. Hold on. All right, so give up the first goal and nothing gets better. At 1:23, Brock Nelson, they're digging in the corner. We can't come up with the puck. It gets to the point. Pellich lets it fly. Nelson with the tip. Devils down early. And at this point, I'm disgusted. My phone's blowing up. A lot of my Devils fan friends are sending me texts. We're sending texts back and forth. Not this again. Islanders the 1-0 lead. And then 11:36, El Capitan, the only guy worth a damn on this squad right now, Nico Hischier. Dylan makes a nice play to keep it at the point. He flings it towards the net. It bounces around. It gets to Bratt, who sets up Nico in the slot, and Nico just snipes another one for his league-leading 8th goal of the year. And let's give it up for Nico Hischier. This man is doing everything he can to will his team to victory, and no one else is pulling the weight the way he is. Nico ties it up at 1 at 11:36, and the tie game was pretty short-lived as well because at 14:03 on the power play, Islanders moving it around. The puck comes to the point. Dobson just rips it. Allen can't control the rebound. Another big, fat, juicy rebound just sitting right in front. Anders Lee just throws it in the empty net. 2-1 Islanders after 1. And at this juncture, I'm like 2 goals in the first period. Like, the bleeding is just, listen, guys, I try to remain positive and optimistic, but I'm in as much pain as all of you, including the doomsdayers that are writing all this crazy stuff online. Like, I'm furious as well. And getting shit goaltending when we thought this was behind us, while we're getting terrible goaltending for the moment, it's painful. It really is. Islanders up 2-1 after 1. And then my man that I called for, one of my favorite players, the tenacious Curtis McDermott, is in the lineup. And at 2:55, he shows you why. Absolutely crushes Romanov. A helmet popper special. My man, helmet right off, bleeding from the mouth, disoriented. Carts himself to the bench. What an amazing play by McDermott. Then Mayfield comes and challenges him. I don't think McDermott had his footing good because it was kind of a sloppy fight and he lost his balance and fell. But what an energy play by Curtis McDermott, coming across, just catching Romanov, blasting him into next week, and then answering the bell when Mayfield comes and fights him. And this helped the Devils get a little momentum. It did, because a couple minutes later at 5:31, Tatar's battling along the wall. He gets the Siegenthaler up high at the point. He throws it behind the net to Cotter, and Cotter finds Lazar driving the net. Lazar puts it in, all tied up at 2. And I was feeling good at this point. I thought we were taking their soul. After the big McDermott hit, the fight, now Lazar scored. I'm like, all right, we're 2-2. Let's see what we do here. And at 11:28, in transition, the Islanders coming back in. Romanov, back from the dead, rips one from the point, and former New Jersey Devil Kyle Palmieri gets a little tip in front. Islanders take the 3-2 lead, and that's how the second period ended, and now I'm kind of furious. And I always hate when former guys score against us, and I feel like Palmieri scored a shit ton against the Devils. But anyway, go to the third period, down 1, get some chances, nothing too grand. Sorokin made some decent saves, I guess, in the third period. And then we get the goalie pulled. And with the goalie pulled at 18:31, Mercer takes a shot in front. It's blocked. Puck's kind of bouncing around. Bratt gets on his backhand, roofs it up, and I am suddenly shocked back to life. I'm like, all right, it's tied up. We got to win this thing in overtime and just, break this horrible slide we're on and get things moving in the right direction. We head to overtime. And Devils with first possession. Nico rings one off the post. Another snipe attempt that just barely misses hitting the back of the net. Beats Sorokin with the shot off the post. And then Jack takes what I would consider a kind of bad shot, because it's a shot that, it's hard. Overtime is definitely different. In the course of a regular game, I'm a huge proponent of just throwing pucks on net and hoping that there's a tip, a redirection. I mean, we've seen all the crazy goals that teams have scored against the Devils. Teams just throwing it on net. They're getting pucks, weird pucks. They're getting deflections, weird bounces, rebounds. Anything can happen. But in overtime, with all that open ice and when possession is so crucial, the Devils had possession, and Jack takes a pretty weak shot that you had to know wasn't going to go in, and it kind of kills the offensive possession for the Devils. Islanders come back up the other way. They're twirling it around, working it down low, and Barzal throws it cross ice to Horvat for the one-timer. Game over. I really thought that Allen should have had that. His pad wasn't flush to the ice. It was kind of a weak goal. And overall, a loser point is better than nothing, but it doesn't feel much better after the game, to be honest. I mean, we've now lost 4 in a row. I don't feel good at all. I am in a depression. And I do think eventually this team is going to get it right, but I'm afraid that if they don't snap out of it soon, they're going to be facing an uphill battle, later in the year. We started off pretty strong, and to just kind of piss those points away essentially and put ourselves in a position now where, we could be clawing just to make the playoffs. I mean, it's obviously way early and people are going to make fun of me, but it is only game 11. So, I mean, yeah, this is concerning now, obviously, but you have to realize we are not even 15% of the way through the season. A 5 or 6 game win streak sometime in the next couple months, surrounded by fairly consistent play, would help tremendously. But it is cause for concern. The fact that some guys just don't seem like their heart's in it, and they're just kind of giving half-ass efforts. And I think at this point, I'm hoping Sheldon Keefe makes some statements with some ballsy, roster moves. I think, I guess I'll say right away that I believe Curtis McDermott 100% needs to play more. I'm not going to say he needs to play every game, but teams are coming to gun for us. The playbook is out that the Devils, despite being a little heavier, edgier, more violent with the additions we brought in over the summer, a lot of our top six and other guys are still, on the softer side of things, unfortunately, and that may never change. And so I think teams' playbooks for the past couple seasons have been just come out, beat on the Devils, forecheck heavy, finish every hit, slam guys, get in their kitchen, do whatever you could do to throw them off their game because they are weak and they're easily kind of pummeled on. I called for Curtis McDermott after last night. I thought it was definitely essential to bring him into the lineup for the X factors that he can bring. And we saw it tonight. Like, in my opinion, that decision was a great one. He drills Romanov, fights. I think the boys get a little jacked up. I think we get some momentum from it, and eventually we tie the game. Unfortunately, we couldn't take the go-ahead goal, but I do think that was a momentum swing within the game, and that's brought to you by Curtis McDermott, the toughest man in the National, laying a monster hit, a helmet popper special. He flies right off. We got blood from the mouth. The visual was absolutely beautiful. I had tons of text and messages, including from some of you on here. Shout out to Stick Figs. He hit me up right away. There's a couple of you in the chat here, and you guys know how I feel about the toughest man in the National, Curtis McDermott. You guys all know I wanted to see him in the game tonight, and I think it was a good decision, and I think we have to see him more often. I think the stat nerds and the analytics people, there's nothing that they are going to show in their little fancy pie graphs and charts and things. You can't measure the heart and the determination and the, I don't know what you want to call it, the, I guess momentum, whatever you want to call that whole thing with Curtis. Stats don't show that. The analytics don't show it. But if you watch the game and you see how guys react and you've watched hockey for a while, you're a believer in this stuff. Again, I know this is not for the math team and the stat nerds and the analytics people. I believe they have their place in small doses for certain things. But when evaluating what a guy like Curtis McDermott brings to the lineup, the math team and all of their number crunching to me goes out the window because there's no way to measure that. Drills a guy, fights. It was a great thing to see, especially after last night where we had some, rather pitiful showings in terms of physicality and answering the bell and things of that nature. Yeah, Dylan fought last night, but that thing with Jack was kind of sad, even though he initiated it and it was his fault. In the end, the guy made sure he got the best of the collision and then taunted Jack. Like, you got to do something there. So I'm a huge fan of Curtis McDermott. But at this point, I do think, just in the interest of shocking the system of the team and waking guys up and getting this ship on track, and I never thought I'd say this, I think Dougie Hamilton should watch the next game from the press box. And I think a lot of you may agree with me. He's just way too lackadaisical out there. I don't know if he's still damaged goods from his surgery last year with the pec. A lot of people and writers have talked about how that's a pretty serious injury, and often it's very hard to recover from. I don't know if that's something to do with it, or if he's just, I don't know what it is. I don't have all the answers or any of the answers, quite frankly, but I do know that he has not played very well. And I think, he took a bad penalty. I think it's just time for him to take a breather, watch from the press box. And I would start doing it to all kinds of guys, one at a time, just all down the line. Be like, you know what? You're not getting the message. You're not doing what we need you to do. There's guys hungry and starving to take your spot in the lineup. So you're going to eat some arena sweet food for one game, watch from the press box, take some notes, come back to me. Let me know. We'll compare notes after the game. Let me know what you saw and what you could do differently, because it's obviously not getting done with you playing every game. And I start with Dougie and I go right down the line. No holds barred. No one is safe. I am scratching everybody that deserves it for one game at a time, and more if need be. Yeah, just a terrible loss. And I do believe, I think I said this in the chat, there's a few people in here. I believe Lou Lamoriello is going into the Islanders locker room before every game, before they play the Devils, and putting money on the board for goals, hits, whatever. He's definitely putting money up there on the board as incentive for these guys to take it to the Devils, because I'm sure there's no one that wants to win every time they play the Devils more than Lou Lamoriello, because that's the type of dude he is. And whatever, I believe he's doing that, and he's firing his team up because they seem amped up pretty often when we play them. And I think the tough love from Keefe has to start ASAP. I've seen enough. I'm disgusted, and I don't know that anything is going to resonate with some of these guys until they're watching from up in the suites, in the press box, unfortunately. I think that's what it's going to take. And I think Dougie needs to be the first one, because on some of these plays, you're like, what the hell are you doing? What's going on, Jesse? Welcome to a Keefe team. Dude loves to make weird lines. Yeah, we've seen a bunch of that already. We're currently taking up a $15 million cap hit on Dougie and Palat, 2 players stinking the place up. Imagine having that free. I mean, listen, Dougie's sucked lately, but I do think there is hope. Palat, different story. A lot of us knew that contract wasn't going to age well. It's obviously aged beyond horribly, and is an anchor, holding this team back right now. And it's unfortunate. I don't know that even with retention, we're going to be able to trade him. It seems like we talk about this every game. He could be a prime buyout candidate after this offseason, and life goes on. We'll see how that goes. But Luke Perry, I think the fans don't want to admit that the core of Jack, Nico, and Brat may not be the group that can lead the Devils to success, and one of them may need to go. No one wants to accept that. Luke, I think it's a little early to say that. With that being said, if this year, God forbid, ends up being a disaster, because I've talked with one of my buddies about this core for the past couple years, and we both kind of came away after the conversation. We both kind of thought that if we had the right supporting cast, meaning, goaltending, defense, bottom 6 guys, some with snarl, and pretty much what Fitz did this summer, we believed that this core, despite their, I guess you want to call it mental and physical toughness, that if they got help from all those other areas and were somewhat insulated with depth guys, with grit and good defensemen and a decent goalie, that they could win. Now, I will say, if this year ends up being a disaster, and I guess by disaster, I mean, I guess a disaster is just not making the playoffs, right? So if we're using that as the metric, if they somehow don't make the playoffs, and don't get me wrong, I believe we're definitely going to make the playoffs. I am not wavering from that whatsoever. Again, game 11, a lot of you are going to flame me for that, but the reality is it is only game 11. I do believe they make the playoffs, but if somehow, some way they do not make the playoffs, then I will 100% be on board for a culture-shocking kind of earth-shattering type move to move on from somebody in the core. I would be on board with that. Again, way too early to be talking about this, but if they somehow don't make the playoffs this year, then I'm completely on board. But I do think we make the playoffs, and it's very early, and so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. But are you more on that Jack Hughes, Jesper Bratt line with Plot has not been good? I'm not saying Bratt isn't good. I don't know who that was in reference to. We need better goalies. New goalies, same issue. Well, as of now, yes. And that is unfortunate. I do believe Markstrom, he's had a few very solid outings for us, so I can't ignore that. I do believe that despite some of his stinker outings recently, that he will eventually settle down and give us quality goaltending on most nights. He's obviously going to have some off nights like he had in Detroit last night, and there's going to be some games where you're like, damn, that sucked. But I think more often than not, you're going to get quality goaltending from him. Hopefully we start seeing it consistently very soon, because God knows we need it. With that being said, I was never high on Jake Allen, unfortunately. I did think, his best days were behind him. I was baffled when Fitz basically traded for him when it was too late to try to salvage the playoffs last year, but trades for him at the deadline and then basically anoints him as the backup for this season. I thought that was extremely strange. I would have much rather had Capo Kakinen as a backup to Markstrom, or a ton of other guys that could have been available in the market to back up Markstrom. And for some reason, they made this deal with Allen, and I never liked it, and I still don't like it. I think Allen can give you solid goaltending here and there, but in the end, like I said, I think his best days are behind him, and he's going to be inconsistent. You'll see some good outings, and you'll see some stinkers, and everything in between. It is what it is. We need a better goaltending coach. A lot of people are saying this, but in the end, how much do you guys really believe a position coach is going to affect the play of said position. Like everyone's like, oh, the goalie coach sucks. But you think that, if we had a different goalie coach, that these guys are going to miraculously start playing better? I mean, I suppose it's possible, but I don't think I don't put nearly as much stock into the coach, especially position coaches, as a lot of people do. Maybe we will see a change in that department, but I'm not expecting it to dramatically make the goalies better overnight. Also a good one. In 2002, Lou had to do the unthinkable and break up the A-line. The current core couldn't even hold the A-line's jockstrap. The fangirls are too attached to these players, and they've done jack shit. Fair point. I believe that you are correct that, and I hate to be this way, but the current core could not hold the A-line's jockstrap. These dudes have hardware, been through tons of playoff battles, and there's no comparison. And quite frankly, they would have to do a lot to even be remotely worthy of being anywhere near the same stratosphere in my book. To me, yeah, regular season points are cute, but in the end, you are here to win a Stanley Cup and a Stanley Cup alone. And until you do that, you're just another guy in the history books with some decent regular seasons. I totally agree here. With that being said, though, Lou broke up the A-line when they were still dominating, which is why it was even more like, to me, that was very different than if you're talking about breaking up this core, should they fail again this year. That A-line was dominant, and Lou was very weird with stuff, and he didn't break them up because we were struggling. He broke them up because he thought they were becoming a bigger than the team. Like, they're bigger than the team. They were one of the best lines in the league. I'm not going to lie. When that happened, me and my friends were irate. I mean, I think most Devils fans were. We were irate. Like, you're breaking up the A-line, the greatest line in team history. We just won the 2000 Cup. We went to the finals in 2001 before losing to the Avs in 7 games. It was kind of mind-boggling. And in the end, it worked out. It worked out for Lou and the Devils. Crazy enough. I mean, it was gutting when we traded them, but without Jamie Langenbrunner and Jeff Friesen, Jamie Langenbrunner was tied for the team lead points in that 2000 playoff run that ended in the Cup. He had 18 points, as did Scott Niedermayer, and Jeff Friesen also was complete cash money that whole playoff run as well. And so you could make the case that if Lou didn't do that, we wouldn't have won that Cup in 2003. I mean, you never know if we still had the A-line guys, but both of the guys that were involved in the trades for A-line members had huge roles in winning that Cup. And so it's a fair point. I am not as attached to the core as a lot of people are. I definitely think you have to give them at least this year. And I do think they make the playoffs. And so I think this is a lot of conjecture and getting ahead of ourselves. A lot of people have been down on the core and attacking them. But if they somehow fail to make the playoffs this year, then I would say I've seen enough. I don't think that happens. Again, I think we make the playoffs. It's real simple. A new system and lines are not working. Keefe may have been a bad choice. Hopefully at some point this year, they'll figure it out. I don't think so. Again, a lot of people like to point at the coach and give them, all the praise or all the hate when things don't go right. I think, there's maybe a little bit of a culture shock going on with these guys right now. It's still, again, 11 games under a coach with a new system. We just got Luke and Pesci back, but I get it. It's definitely concerning, but I don't think that Keefe is the main problem. I think these friggin' guys need to play like they want to win. Show heart. Show some friggin' heart. Nico definitely earning that C. Well, what an absolute beast. Nico has been just willing this team to be competitive in games that, like, someone matches intensity, please, or even close to it. Can I ask you an honest question? When do you give up on this team? I'm very curious about that. He may already have. Put Luke Hughes at winger, get him off the blue line. I don't think we're ever going to see that happening. A lot of people think this, as long as Marty is here, Rogalski isn't going anywhere. It's hard to say if goaltending is an issue when no one is playing any D in front of them. They might be able to stand on their heads for a game here or there, but to do that night in, night out is impossible. I agree. But I would say with, if Markstrom looked like he did in some of the games he played well last night, we could have won that game. That game was winnable if we got a little bit better goaltending play. And I'm going to say the same thing about tonight. Especially that overtime goal. I mean, yeah, he's going left to right or right to left, but that was a pretty weak goal in my opinion, especially in overtime. And so I understand that there is a lot of breakdowns and the defense hasn't been stellar on a lot of nights, but there's also some truth to the fact that with better goaltending, we still could have won some of these games. And I think tonight is one of them. I think with better goaltending, we could have won tonight for sure. Send Luke back down with Rempe. He's definitely never going down. Brodeur is the perfect example of great player, maybe not good GM material. Markstrom was his big get, and he pushed for him. Again, Luke, it's game 11, guy. I'm more concerned about the team as a whole than Markstrom, if I'm being honest. I think Markstrom will eventually give us consistently good goaltending. It's extremely early in his Devils career. Let's see. The numbers are bad, that I know. Yeah, 7 games played as a Devil, 315 goals against and 891. Obviously, nowhere near getting it done. SST being sarcastic. Keep believing, guys. Don't lose hope. I agree. Players need to go up in the box. Hamilton, Jack, Palat, send them up. Yeah, I hope we start seeing it. I think it's well past that time. And dare I say, if Dougie gets scratched, do we bring back the early season breakout star on the blue line, my favorite Michigan alumni and yours, Seamus Casey? Actually, have we won? I don't think we've won a game since Casey went down, correct? No, we are winless. We are winless in the post Seamus Casey era. I mean, I'm not going to obviously say that that's the reason why, but it is a funny little coinky dink that I do not believe we've won a game since Seamus Casey went down. I'd be all for calling him back up, putting Dougie in the box for a game, and let's see. Seamus played 100 times better than Luke. Yeah, I know it's only his second game, but he has more than 15 turnovers. Yeah, I mean, you know. What happened in 2023 was the Devils caught other teams by surprise. Then Carolina playoffs happened. Canes showed how all you need to do is forecheck them into dust, and the Devils can't handle it. Obviously, a lot of truth to that. They're having a lot of difficulty against heavy forechecking teams and then need to figure it out, because when teams are dumb enough to try to come and play the Devils and want a run and gun, that plays right into the Devils' hands. They would love to sit there and play run and gun hockey against most teams, because in the end, we have the horses to win more times than not. And to your point, Luke, if you smash them into smithereens and smother them and forecheck them and just make it a grueling, brutal game, they wilt, they kind of wither up and die. So it's definitely true, and I'm curious to see how they could kind of grow past that, and embrace that style of game, because especially if and when they make the playoffs, obviously I'm hoping they do, they're going to see heavy doses of that nonstop. Luke's being sarcastic. It's only game 11. Palat, Hamilton need to go at the very least. I mean, I'm not giving up on Dougie yet, but he definitely needs to watch a game from the press box, in my opinion. Hamilton is an absolute liability. The guy plays with all the studs and still has an awful plus minus. Is horrific on the back end, and he can't hit. I'm trying not to be a doomsday guy, but we have issues. Black Atron, I think that these are all fair, points. And I just can't for the life of me understand it. I don't know why some huge guys just don't embrace their size and just want to smash people. I guess it's just, you could try to teach it to some extent, but I just don't know, like, how, you're a hockey player. At some point, you must have hit people a little bit, like, at the highest level, especially when you're the size of Dougie. You have to crush people. I don't know why it's such a bizarre thing. And I had that issue with Kevin Ball as well. An absolute monster, but, like, you have to start crushing guys. You're big for nothing. You're absolutely big for nothing. Someone has to call out the BS in the locker room soon. I mean, something's got to give, right? We're going to start seeing, I think, tempers boil over. And at some point, it could become, ugly sooner than later. This is, I obviously not very encouraging the way they've been playing. And, there's a lot of things that need to improve. This is one of the most unlikable Devils teams ever from last year. The only players I like are the ones who just got on the team. I mean, shout out to the new guys, right? I love all of them as well. Like Kovacevic, Dylan, Cotter, Nason. I mean, these are all outstanding moves by Fitzy. It's, the guys that were already here that are the issues at the moment, for the most part. I know it's only October, but we can't keep ignoring this. The only reason we're still ahead of the standings is because of how many games we played. Yeah, absolutely. SST, I'm not hiding from people like you. That call was already planned, but nice try, guy. What do you think? I don't care. I could take your nonsense. I don't need anyone's call to distract the Doomsdayers. If Luke's last name wasn't Hughes, he'd be on the comments, and this I fully agree with, and it is the unfortunate reality of the world. I mean, it's not just sports, right? This would fall under the umbrella of nepotism, and I've seen this firsthand in my life as a child with, the coach's kid is the starting running back, even though there's 3 other kids better than him, or, so-and-so's mom got the promotion instead of that lady because she was banging the other guy that used to work here and he put in the good word. There's all these things that go into real life and how people get opportunities that others do not get. And obviously, being a Hughes has its benefits. And I don't know if he'd be full-time on the Comets, but I don't think, his roster spot would have been so secure this year with the defensive depth we had, with him coming off an injury. And so, it is what it is. But do I believe he would have been in the A for some portion of the season? Yeah. $15 million in cap on dead weight. Ace's next t-shirt be Hamel. Oh boy. Oh boy. We need Prague's top chefs and women first class on the next flight to Newark ASAP. If the Devils played Buffalo every game, they'd be the best team in the league. We need a new GM. Fitz ain't it. I am not there yet. I'm not there yet. I think, like the core, I give him. You have to give him this year, but the reality is, I can't really blame him if this team flounders. I think all of his offseason moves, minus the Tatar one, I think were all great moves. Cotter has been amazing. Nason has been amazing. Kovacevic he stole and he's been great. Dylan's been serviceable. I guess you could point to the goaltending thing, but the jury's still out on that. It's still very early. And so, let's see how Markstrom does. But I like the moves in the summer for the most part. And if these guys just can't string together wins at some point, I think, as other people alluded to, there's deeper issues going on that I can't necessarily blame a GM for. Hopefully Nico finds his voice and start leading this team with something other than his actions. I mean, yeah, but these guys are professional athletes, guys. Like, what do you think? Nico's going to yell at a guy and all of a sudden they're going to start not playing like shit? Like, can someone call Stevens and have him come run a captain's practice? I don't think the players in today's day and age would be able to last a practice of that kind of intensity and makeup from the good old days. Hamilton doesn't cover his man on both goals. He sucks at everything. He was absolutely swimming around lost out there in overtime. This will be Hamilton's last season in the NJ. He still have offensive value before that contract becomes an albatross and frees up the salary for Luke, who needs to play like a PP1 player. I never thought he was going to live out his whole contract here, so it is interesting. I thought he would, make it closer to the end, but now I could potentially see it, depending on how Fitz and the analytics team are kind of envisioning the future of the blue line. You have Salayev a couple years away, obviously the monster from Russia. You obviously have Seamus Casey. Luke Hughes is going to be getting a fat raise this summer, and Nemitz will be next summer. And so when you start to look, where can we save some money? Obviously, Dougie's contract jumps off the page as one of those ones where you're like, you know what, if we could get something good for this guy and get this cap relief, maybe he's a guy worth moving on from. It's definitely possible. He is 6'6" and scared to hit. He should be mowing people over. I couldn't agree more. When you see huge guys like him and Ball just not absolutely crush people, it's painful. And I don't know what it is. And the same with the guys that refuse to fight, even when like shit gets dicey. Yeah, I don't know. Are they scared to get beat up? I think some guys are scared to get beat up. I don't know if they're scared of the embarrassment or scared of the physical pain, but it seems like, yeah, they just back down way too much. And I don't know what it is. And I don't know if you could teach that. It's kind of bewildering. Stevens wasn't even a loud person in the locker room either, but he had a presence. Yeah, he just shot people the glare, and they knew what time it was. Scott Stevens had a glare with his eyes that could penetrate your soul. Whether you were his teammate and you did something wrong or you were the opposition, when you got that look from Scott Stevens, you already knew what time it was. I have no faith in this team anymore. They got to prove that they're actually a good team. They're super overhyped for no reason. Well, I mean, I hate when media and all these people pick us to be good too. I obviously would prefer to fly under the radar, but there was reason for optimism with this team heading into this season with the core pieces in place and all of the moves that Fitz made in the summer. A lot of people thought, myself included, that this was going to be a much improved team. And the season's still far from over, obviously. So we don't really know what we truly have yet, other than a 4-game skid right now with shit needing to get corrected immediately. Rogalski could take Dominik Hasek, Vlad Tretiak, and Patrick Waugh on their prime. They'd be giving him 5 goals a game. I don't know about that. Kovacevic is a good player. He makes league minimum. Yeah, you need guys to play above their contract grade. Paul Cotter, I think, makes $775 right now. Like, he's worth way more than that, as is Kovacevic. And so you got to find guys making peanuts that are playing at a much higher level, and we have at least 2 of them right now. Oh, here we go. Jack Hughes is becoming the elephant in the room. No one wants to address it. A lot of people are super down on Jack at the moment. I have my little criticisms of him. I hope that he eventually matures and grows out of them. But I certainly understand, some of the people that are not particularly happy with him overall. Some of the criticisms I think are fair. I think some people take it to the next level and to the extreme. But I think some level of criticism for anybody, playing a professional sport is certainly warranted. I know the doomsday talk will be rampant, maybe a bit deserved. No time or energy to fight off the Persians tonight. Point is a point, and they all matter, fortunately and unfortunately. Yeah, fair point. Fair point. Nice to get a point, but it doesn't make the loss feel any better, especially right now. Kovacevic doesn't make the team leading $9 million. Kovacevic is overhyped. Nemitz is better. I think Nemitz will eventually be better. I don't think he's better right now. I think Nemitz is going to, have to continue to develop. He got thrust into the NHL before we really wanted him to, and now we have super depth. SST, you would keep Nemitz in the lineup over Kovacevic? I'm curious. It's not doomsday talk. It's just Dougie is trash. Kovacevic was signed as a 7th D-man. Absolutely, and he played his way onto this roster. He basically stole Nemitz's spot. We need faster D-men, not be stoneheads. He's not supposed to be some great D-man. He's the least of the problems. Dougie's coming off an injury. And yeah, I'm hoping it's not something lingering and that he's still playing hurt. It's definitely possible. By a lot of accounts I've read regarding these pec injuries, they say that, it can be one of these things that you're never the same afterwards. And I don't know. It seems like Dougie, at a minimum, is very hesitant to shoot. He seems very gun shy. He's not letting those bombs rip like he used to, or at least at the frequency he used to. The biggest issue is Jack Hughes playing not like the superstar he apparently is. I mean, listen, he's getting his chances. He's creating. In my opinion, he's kind of struggled finishing for his whole career. I mean, he obviously finishes on occasion, but there's a ton of chances he doesn't finish. Maybe that can improve. And I do think he does try to do a little too much, as a lot of other people have pointed out over, again, his career, I suppose. Brett Pesce, I don't know what to make of him yet. He's going to be our most solid and responsible defenseman. Made another great play today. I think it was late in the third period. The Islanders were coming in on the rush, and he just timed it right, and he just kind of jammed the guy right at the line so that he couldn't bring it in and had to dump it. Great kind of cerebral, super heads-up play by Pesce to have the foresight to see that they were about to get on the attack, and he just stood the guy up at the line. It was a beautiful play. Look what Florida did. They won President's Trophy, lost in the first round, blew up the team. No, they're a fucking wagon because they got the right guys. I mean, listen, that's the Matthew Tkachuk effect. Literally, I wanted Matthew Tkachuk more than anything when all those rumors were flying around that he wanted out of Calgary. I wanted him more than anything. Supposedly, the Devils were in on him, and they couldn't get it done. But that's the Tkachuk effect. His first year there, they go to the finals and lose. And then last season, in his second year, he goes all the way back to the finals and they get it done. I mean, those kids are warriors. Brady as well. Poor guy's never played in a playoff game. If you notice, Pesce and Nason know how to play hockey because they were coached well and on a competent franchise, unlike the Devils' homegrown core. Well, they were under Hot Rod for a while, and the Hurricanes are a winning culture and a winning franchise. And so there could be something to that. Obviously, Nason, I'm going to call him Nason 2.0. He looks like a completely different player than his first stint with the New Jersey Devils, and that's because he kind of developed and learned a thing or two in Carolina. I can't stand Dougie out on an LTIR and use that money, make up an injury. Pesce is a breath of fresh air. Pesce and Nason thinking, why the hell did I come to Jersey? I don't think they're thinking that yet. I think we are seeing all the bad habits that Lindy beat into this core, and it's going to take time to beat it out of them. I agree. I said this a couple days ago. You can't unlearn years of practiced bad habits. You can't just snap out of it and at the drop of a hat, all of a sudden, because this new guy said so, stop doing all these things that are like innately in you. And it's going to take some time. And I think it's going to take some, benching guys for a period or half a period, as well as scratching guys and putting them in the press box. I don't know if Keefe has the balls to do that. I hope he does. We know Torts does, which is why, Torts is a fiery, no nonsense, no bullshit, straight to the point, direct guy. That's why I always wanted him as a coach of the Devils. It obviously will probably never happen at this juncture. But I always wanted him because of his approach in that way, and he doesn't give a shit. He would scratch anybody. And so I would like to see, like I said, Keefe staple some guys to the bench in game when it's warranted, and scratch some guys and throw them in the press box and let them stew on that for a minute. We need a new owner who cares about hockey and not money. I mean, that would be nice, but because they own the arena as well, that'll never happen, man. And sports franchises just continue to go up and up in value. And so the New Jersey Devils are a nice little piece of the Harris Blitzer sports entertainment portfolio, and I don't see them ever selling. The Devils are becoming the New York Jets of the NHL. I mean, well, come on. We still have 3 championships in the last 30 years. That's way more than the Jets can say. I'm not saying anything about Fitz until the end of the season. I think that's a very fair thing at this point. Fitzgerald doesn't deserve till the end of the season. I want him gone. Like, well, what would you have wanted him to do differently, Luke? I'm curious. 42 people waiting to dump all their doom onto this man right now. I'll take the point, better than nothing. Plus, they almost won the game. Luck has not been on their side at all. Absolutely agree. But at some point, you got to get the wins. We need the 2 points. And in a spot like tonight, where they're on a 3-game slide looking to end it, you can't lose the 4th. And now a 4-game losing streak with 3 of the 4 games on home ice. That is literally just completely inexcusable and disgusting. I mean, just completely disgusting. If it was up to you, we'd have no GM, no coach, no team, because they'd all be fired. One year don't count, like the New York Giants, one fluke year, and we gave Daniel Jones $40 million a year. It hurt us more to be good that year. It was fool's gold or fool's. Yeah, Daniel Jones robbed the Giants without a gun, but what are you going to do? That's Pro sports just overpaying guys. Oregano dealer. That's a really funny name, actually. Oregano dealer. Do you really sell spices, or were you selling kids fake bags in high school and you're filling up the dime bags with oregano and ripping people off? That's funny. Holtz with the point, though. If Fitz doesn't jettison Hamilton and plot after the summer, then he should be shown the door. Wow, you guys are ready to move on from Hamilton already. I'm hoping he could turn it around. I just want him in the press box for a night. Imagine the 15 mil from Dougie and Palat being used other than paperweights. I mean, and now everyone's the Dougie thing's a new development. I mean, people have been down on him, but to talk about trading him and stuff, Mercer is a bum. I mean, I think that's a little strong as well. Would have liked to see him bury that breakaway chance he had. I was like, shit, man, come on. What a moment it would have been for him to deliver there. He couldn't get it done. Hamilton needs to be scratched on the message. I am all on board with that. We should have never traded Holtz. Is going to be the best player in the league. I mean, that's obviously sarcastic. Scratch Hamilton. I'm down. I think a lot of people are. Jack Hughes usually evolves in the offseason and comes back playing better. Maybe the injury time off didn't allow him to evolve his game, but he looks like the same Jack as last year. I will say that. I don't know if that's in a good way or a bad way, but I think even the Jack of last year seemed to be finishing a little bit of a better clip. Anyone know a billionaire that loves the Devils and wants to expand their portfolio? Oh man, I would love to see it, but like I said, I don't think the team will be offered up for sale, anytime soon. Dougie's contract isn't going anywhere. We're screwed. Win or lose, we booze. Absolutely. I almost sliced my finger open. That's a short. Put up, Chase. Dougie makes me long for the days of Zaka. Oh my God. Let's hit up RW. It's supposed to be RWJ Barnabas Health. Shotgun time. Yeah, it's too. If I was outside, I would have done it. It'd make a friggin' mess. Yo, Holmes, I remember my first beer. You guys are funny. I just finished my 6 Truly. Shotgun that shit. Oh, man. I don't think I've shotgunned a beer since probably young 20s or maybe mid 20s. When I was in like my mid to late 20s, there was probably a time or two where I was around some young bucks that were like probably in college and thought, shotgunning was so cool. So I had to show them how a veteran does it. McDermott was the best part of this game. I agree. Did the Devils give you that beer? No. Corona, our beer is actually open. Another loss at home. Terrible. This team don't got it at all. I mean, again, listen, guys, I'm going to, and I know you guys are sick of it, but it is only 11 games. And so if I had to make an analogy, let me think here. Let me think of a good one. Okay, perfect example. It's going to be half of an analogy. But 11 games is approximately, well, let me give you the exact, actually. Let's do the exact. We're 11 games through an 82-game schedule, right? That is 13.4%. 13.4%. So to be so down and be so opinionated and judge the team so harshly after 13% is the same thing as judging a 2-hour movie after 16 minutes. Think about that. Judging the team as end-all be-all after Game 11, 13% of the season, is the same as judging a 2-hour movie after the first 16 minutes. And I'll tell you this. I got a quick trigger finger on the Netflix. It depends on the night. Sometimes I'm just like, screw it, I'll ride it out. But a lot of times I got an itchy trigger finger. If that movie isn't good in the first, 10, 20 minutes, I'll be like, nah, and kill it. But I've seen plenty of movies that I almost changed because it started off slow and sucked, and then eventually, ended up being a good or great movie. And so we are only at the 16-minute mark of this 2-hour film, and I invite you all to get your popcorn, sit back and relax, because we are only 16 minutes into this 2-hour movie. Give it some time. Send Luke to Albany for a while. He's not ready. Way too many unforced turnovers. Yeah, hopefully, Keefe holds him responsible. And if he does continue to turn it over and make poor decisions at the rate that he does often, I think that you're going to see him in the press box for on occasion. I think you will see that. So we will see. How big are the balls of Sheldon Keefe? How far will he kind of take the disciplinarian approach? I'm hoping he goes full into it. Am I the only one who misses Pete DeBoer? I mean, you butchered the spelling, but you got, phonetically, I was able to figure it out. I'm not really down on the team. I'm just down with Dougie. Devils will be all right, but this Shrek really sucks. Laugh my ass off at best they could do. Yeah, best I could give you is a loser point. Best I could do is a loser point. I'm saying, what could make you feel good about them? I mean, the fact that they could have won tonight and they could have won last night. So, think of how differently everyone would feel if we had won the last 2 games. It's definitely possible. Oh, what's up? What's up, Brian? Don't be stingy. Hit the like button. Thank you. I always forget. Hit the like button. It takes half a second of your life and costs $0.00. Will Jay Hughes ever face the media? Every time he faces the media, it's completely obvious that he'd rather be anywhere else on planet Earth than talking to the reporters. But, and that does irk me a little bit about him, but in his defense, the reporters or the media ask the same dumbass, repetitive, stupid questions after every single game. And if I was him, I would try to avoid talking to them at all costs as well, because it's just nonsense. Complete nonsense. Push the button. Push the button. Look on the bright side. At least we are consistent. I'm not pushing the panic button yet, Louis. Something needs to be tweaked. I'm keeping faith it'll turn around. Yeah, so am I. Dougie chose us. Tom Fitzgerald. Yeah, because no other GM would drastically overpay and over tenure. Holmes, this is one thing that I have said for a while. And one of my buddies, I have a love-hate with Fitzy. Right now, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I thought he had a great offseason. But when we did get Dougie and people were trying to sing his praises like, oh, blah, 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 what a great move, yada, yada. I was like, yo, my grandmother could have signed Dougie Hamilton. If you're offering him a monster contract and you're paying him the most money with a long amount of years, what skill does that take? That takes absolutely no skill. None whatsoever. Here's your highest offer. My grandma presented it to you. My grandma, GM of the century. So I do think that that's, when people say, yeah, he chose you, it's not like, this wasn't The Bachelor or one of those dating shows where the chick or the guy, picked the person out of the bunch. No, man, this is straight cash money. We offered a mega deal and he took it. I do find that very disturbing when people lean on stuff like that, because I do think it's insulting. The only Hughes worth anything is Quinn at the moment. I mean, obviously, I think Quinn is, at this juncture, the best of the 3 of them, but I still have hope that our Hughes brothers will, in fact, end up being, winners. I guess winners was how I'll determine it. Nico is stepping up, though. Him like Barkov, shoving it in the haters over the number 1 pick. Hamilton misses the net wide. You guys are brutal. That would be... Why did Fitz have such a hard-on for Allen? It is a very good question. I don't know that we'll ever know. And I'm curious, because when it happened, I thought it was super weird. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. You didn't get a goalie when we could have potentially tried to salvage the season and claw into the playoffs. You get him at the deadline when it's, for all intents and purposes, way too late for us to get back in the playoff picture. And then you tell us that he's the backup for next year? I mean, without him even playing a game, like, what was the point of all of that? I did find it super weird. And like I said earlier, I would have rather Kakinen, who was already here, and poor Kakinen, right? We trade for Kakinen, and Fitz comes out and he's basically like, yeah, we don't really want him. We needed to trade him to get rid of Vitek's contract. I was like, oh my God, man. That was like the most harsh, blunt truths I've ever heard a GM talk. Like, shit. You're telling this kid, like, basically, we don't want you. We needed a way to dump Vitek, and so you're here. And he had some great outings for the Devils as well. I would have much rather had him as a backup this year over Allen, and there was a few other guys out there as well. But I did think that was super weird, and I don't know why. Allen did stone McLean on 2 breakaways. This could have been way worse. I mean, yeah, shout out to Allen. He deserved a little better. He didn't have the best game, but he did make some huge saves, and he did have 2 big saves on Johnny Mac's kid while we were on the power play. There were shorthanded attempts by Kyle McLean. Yeah, 2 big saves by Allen there. But I do think that the game-winning goal in OT was a softie special. Nico needs 5 minutes to scream at the team uninterrupted like McSmythe did with his Oilers last year. I don't think Nico has that kind of rant in him. I'd be curious. David, I can't keep watching this team. Romanov then went and laid out half our team. Hit did nothing to him. He didn't miss a shift, and he scored. To him personally, no, but it seemed like it woke the Devils up a little bit. The Devils kind of came on for a little while after that, and then unfortunately they couldn't get the go-ahead goal. They tied the game, though. Palmieri always scores, and I said he would last night. Yeah, it seems like he plays very well against his former club in the New Jersey Devils. Devils broadcast brought up stats about momentum. Even with 7 first goals, 4 blown leads, leave McDermott in. We need the confidence booster. I would love to see McDermott play way more regularly. He doesn't need to play a ton of time per game, but let him get out there and get after people, because obviously when he connects, it's a game changer. The helmet popper special. NJ leads NHL in turnovers, and we look like it. Jack's OT shot was terrible. I agree. I didn't like the final shot from Jack either. It was a possession killer. Ace, that possession from Jack killed us. You need to hold the puck. Yeah, it wasn't a good shot. That shot by Jack was weak and poop and was not worth giving up possession for. It was way outside. Yeah. Jack takes us every night, and they always go the other way. It's dumb, and he does it all the time. I agree that he does take a lot of low percentage shots, but I think that also could be part of his, I'm not going to call it greatness, but his, when his game is on, he's taken, think about all the at least 2 or 3, he's banked off the goalie's helmet from a really sharp angle that everyone would have been like, you would have thought there was no chance of him scoring from these angles, and he finds a way to do it. And so it's tough with a guy like that to tell him not to take those shots, but they are often just like, and like you said, it ends up going the other way and sometimes in the back of the net. Could have been crushed. Turnover City, and Dougie is the mayor. Win or lose, we booze. That is right. Smash the like. Absolutely. Oh, Puck Goblin. Interesting. I'd be down for a Dawes run again. The meat's for the taking for him. Oof. Insert Nico Dawes. That is I'm not there yet, but shit, it won't take me much. If the slide continues and the goaltending is still an issue and we're still here talking about it, I'm absolutely down to see some Nico Dawes in my life. It was only game 11 last year, and they look like the same exact team. If they don't beat Anaheim before this Western Canada trip, that's some early trouble. I mean, shit, that would be 5 games in a row with 4 or 5 at home. I would be really close to doing something drastic at that point. for sure. That's a 5-game slide is just horrific. Ryan, shut up about playoffs. I don't want to hear anything about playoffs till we can hit a 5-game win streak. Well, I'm here to tell you, you could definitely make the playoffs without a 5-game win streak. So I don't know where you arbitrarily pulled that number from, but you know, there's no correlation between a 5-game win streak and playoffs. Because if you won 4 of every 5 games and went 4-1, 4-1, 4-1, you would win the division, probably win the President's Trophy, and obviously be in the playoffs without ever winning 5 in a row. So I'm not sure what your point is there, but NYI got through us too easily. We should have been crunching them, but no, they just walked by through us for the goals. Yeah, they need to step it up, and they need to start. I mean, there was a lot of hitting tonight. Definitely a lot of hitting. Devils credited with 27 hits. But what's going on, Maria? Just got back from the game. I think McDermott needs to be out every game. Glad he was finally activated. Yeah, I don't know about every game, but he definitely needs to be brought into the lineup way more often. And even if he only plays, a few minutes, he's obviously capable of, within those few minutes. He played 224 tonight. And he crushed a man, knocked his helmet off, gave the Devils some momentum, and then we eventually tied the game not too long after. Craig, our top 6 are too similar of players. I mean, maybe. I would like to see a kind of gritty, big, true power forward at some point in our top 6, but I don't know. I mean, Nico, Timo is the closest thing we have to it. But smaller kind of skill guys are what this team, the core, really consists of. Oh yeah, crazy that we got the power play. I forgot about that. That we ended up with a power play after that. Love to see it. Got to set the tone. That's Curtis McDermott's role. Absolutely. I love Big Mac. Would like to see him against the Ducks tomorrow. Ducks Sunday. I don't even know what day it is anymore. Yeah, Sunday. I would too. Dougie is 6'6", but plays no contact hockey. Jack turns a light shade of yellow when he sees the puck in the corner. Luke has the puck protection awareness of a tomato. It's October. We get it, but damn. Yeah. I mean, listen, fair points. Come on, Ace. He played 224 tonight. He was barely more than a member of the crowd. Chico Tazo. Tell me what member of the crowd smashed a man, knocked his helmet off, and then when the teammate came and he was like, oh, you want this? What member of the crowd did that? I don't know any member of the crowd that did that, but Curtis McDermott certainly did. And it was a beautiful sight to see. We ended up with a power play that we did not score on, but we took a little momentum from that and tied the game. Jack is not willing to go into the dirty areas. This doesn't win championships. I mean, listen, I agree that you obviously need to go in dirty areas to win championships, but I don't think that every single player on your team needs to be able to do that. I mean, to some extent, once in a while, do they need to live in those dirty areas? No, we have guys that do that. Would I like to see Jack, be involved in that type of play a little bit more? Obviously, yeah, but you got to take the positive, the negatives with the positives. And one of the things is he's never going to be that grinder, tough kind of guy. He's a flashy, skill, finesse guy. Another thing worrying me, no points for Cotter yet again. Cotter got the assist on the laser goal. Cotter with the primary assist on the Curtis Lazar goal. So puck goblin, Cotter got on the score sheet. I feel kind of bad for Keefe. Our top players are scared to get in there and put the pedal on the gas. That seems like that to some extent. That OT shot was not good, Cody. The pad wasn't flush to the ice, and it found a way to slither underneath. Terrible. Terrible, terrible. Thank you, Ace. Dougie's absolute dog shit this year. I hate how soft he is for that size. Yeah, you got to use it. You got to use the size. I don't know why he doesn't. Oh, G Piercy, thank you so much. I did not see this before. Thank you for the super chat. I don't know what's going on with this this program here. It didn't pull it up. But thank you very much. Appreciated. Will Baldy let Keefe do it? If you're referring to scratching anyone or Dougie specifically, that's the $1 billion question. I would have to believe that Fitzgerald would let him do it. And I think it's almost like a do it at your own risk kind of thing, because I could see that being, I don't know. It's very interesting. I would like to think that he would, but nothing would surprise me. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't allowed to. I wouldn't be shocked at all. Start with Jack. I can't see it happening, but again, I'm all for, punishment across the board for people that deserve it. Sloppy puck control. They did better than some games, but still very sloppy, and goaltending has been terrible. Goaltending has been pretty bad. Pretty bad. We have to win versus the Ducks. No reason to lose the next game, in my opinion. There was no reason to lose tonight either, Richard. It is what it is. No one's doing us any favors. No one's giving away points, and it's hard to win games in this league. And it's been unfortunate. An unfortunate slide for the boys right now. Siegs has even recognized his job is on the line and is playing hard. Yeah, I said last night, Siegenthaler's slamming guys along the wall like his career is on the line. Shout out to Siegenthaler for recognizing, like, I better get my shit together because there is guys nipping at my heels to take my spot. There's a ton of guys dying to take my spot, and Siegs looks like a new player. He might have to be the the turnaround player from last year for sure. What a great story Siegenthaler has become. Out of position, people just walking through our D, even if he's lacking everywhere, need Big Mac to inject some of that hardness. Could not agree more. Could not agree more. The entire team looks like they need 2 weeks off. And I didn't get to watch the whole thing. That's why I was a couple seconds late into the live. I was watching the Sheldon Keefe post-game press conference, and he was, I'm not going to say making excuses, but he was like, we've played, whatever it was, like 10 games in 16 days and whatever else. And it is true. Like, the schedule is brutal. Coming back from Prague to have this many games in the time span that we're playing them in, it is like a true gauntlet. Completely insane schedule. And I think it's catching up to the guys. Dougie Hamilton is half an expected goal worse than Brendan Dillon, his regular partner so far this season, and worst on the team among regulars. He's been brutal. Torts would have benched Jay Hughes already. I'd imagine at least one game in the past few years. Where are the McDermott haters at? He was a bright spot tonight. Oh, man, G. Piercy, thank you so much. Jack Hughes needs to hit the gym. I've said for a couple years now that I believed that he needed to get tougher. Some of the other guys did, and they needed to get bigger. I mean, some of these guys are just so small, and I understand that the league places an emphasis on now the skill, the finesse, the speed. But at the end of the day, this is still a man's league. This is a man's sport, and you need to be able to give and take hits. And especially come playoff time. If you guys watch the playoffs, I said it from game one. The second I turned on that Toronto-Boston game one, I was like, oh, my God. It was just bodies hitting the ice every 2 seconds, and you just heard crunch, crunch, and it was just warfare, and it continued on throughout the playoffs. Teams find the next level, the next gear, and when it comes to physicality, people are getting smashed. And if you're not ready or be able to weather that type of game, you're done. I don't know why this isn't. Oh, thank you so much, Puck Goblin. Some bucks for the channels and the next beer. Win or lose, we got to booze. Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Absolutely gotta booze, win or lose. And yeah, the loser beers don't taste nearly as good as the victory beers. I am hoping to share a victory beer with you guys soon. At this point, if it's not Sunday night, it could be the end of running with the Devils and your boy Ace. It could be the end. A 5-game skid, it might be curtains. It could absolutely be curtains. And, I'll just have to continue on without the New Jersey Devils being such a part of my, it'll always be a part of my life, but in terms of like just coming on here and facing the haters and trying to talk people off the ledge, it could be over. It could absolutely be over, but thank you so much, Puck Goblin. Hopefully the next beers are victory beers. Askarov, the one that got away twice, and Jeff, I wholeheartedly agree. Even after we got Markstrom, I thought it made all the sense in the world to bring him here as the next guy, kind of after Markstrom. I think the hiccup with that potentially would have been that I think Askarov wanted to play in the league right away. But again, I would have found a way to get rid of Allen if that was the stumbling block. Like having Askarov behind Markstrom right now would have been great. I don't know why once we got Markstrom, we kind of bowed out of the Askarov situation. There was rumors the Devils were involved. I would love to know if that's true or not. There's always these rumors, and you never know, what the truth is. A-line, grown-ass men, Devils Court equal children. Let me see. Not about the size of the dog in the fight. It's about the size of the fight in the dog. This is, again, back to just guys not answering the bell. I don't know exactly. Like I said, I don't know if it's because they don't want to be embarrassed for losing, or they don't want to inflict, or they don't want to get their asses kicked. But in this context about the size of the dog in the fight, it's so true. And like, you don't have to be the biggest guy to be the toughest guy. And you just need those guys that do have that dog in them. And a lot of these guys don't, and it reminds me, like, just get tough, even if they're undersized. Guys that have the will to stick up for themselves and their teammates. And a lot of these guys don't have it. And that's why you got to find the guys with the dog in them. Like, I have a younger brother, and for my whole life, a big part of my childhood, I would say from the time I was like probably 9 and my brother was 7, from about those ages, from 9 and 7 till the time we were probably like 15 or 16, we fought almost every day. Okay. Like physically fought. I never went full force because I was substantially larger than my brother. So even, as a 14, 15-year-old, I was probably like 5'7", 5'8", and probably weighed like 180, 170. My brother was 4'11", 101 pounds. And every day he did not back down from me. My brother is much tougher than I am. And if he was anywhere near my size, he would have kicked my ass. But unfortunately for him, he wasn't. And he knew every day he was going to get his ass kicked, but he didn't care. He came back for more and more every single day, always got in my face, didn't give a shit. Shout out to my brother. He's got that dog in him. And some of these players need to have that. Even if you know you're going to lose. My brother knew he was going to get his ass kicked. And every single day he came back for more, did not care. We have monster guys that are backing away from guys. And even some of the smaller guys, like, even if you're going to get whipped, who cares? Let the other team know you're not backing down and you were there. And so, Jay Snow, to your point about the size of the fight and the dog, absolutely. We need some of these guys to get their amount of fight up, because it's not up to par right now. Nepotism happens everywhere in life. Absolutely. Including in professional sports. Yo, Holmes. Nemitz is still injured from the Worlds, fellas. I hope you're wrong. It is possible, but I hope you're wrong. That could be something. You should make a run with the Devils Discord channel, and once you're done with your opening statement, you should have people join the call and kind of have a debate-style content. I gotta look into all this. So you guys want to see like death matches, like phone call death matches on the air? I think that could be interesting. I think that could definitely be interesting. I got to do a Discord for that. I'm an old man, guys. I only heard about Discord maybe in the past year or two, maybe 3 years ago. It's been how long has it been around for? It's been a thing for a while, right? I just want to check a stat here. Thoughts on giving Cotter more minutes? I absolutely love Paul Cotter. I've said from a long time ago, I think he could play up and down the lineup. I think the reality is that the third line, Keith loves the third line as a unit, and so he doesn't really want to, I guess, give Cotter more minutes elsewhere long term because it takes away from the third line. But at this point, I'm down to give Cotter all the opportunities in the world. And at this point, I thought from games ago he should have seen some power play time. I don't know why we really haven't seen that yet. I think he's more than deserving of it. Oh, you got some of you guys are going at each other here. Need to bring Brady to NJ trending. We need to drop Hamilton and bring Casey Nemitz. I would love to see True Patriot. Staked in or bet this team don't win 4 straight at any point this year. 4 straight. I think I would take that bet, but I don't know how it would get enforced. True Patriot. I have to believe they win 4. At least once. Jack is a small guy, kind of like Henrique, who was around different teammates that protected him. I think Fitz tried his best this offseason. Everyone got to relax. I think he did a damn good job this offseason, and I was very happy with the moves. I want Fitz to call out his players. He's not getting to the root of the issue, in my opinion. I don't know the last time we saw Fitz. Well, hold on. I'm gonna give you guys a little sneak of something. The last time the public saw Fitz, but the last time your boy saw Fitz wasn't too long ago. The last time your boy saw Fitz, can you guys see that? Heavier, edgier, more violent. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate, but, I saw Fitz not too long ago. Shout out to Fitzy. I don't know the last time he addressed the media, though. Was it a while ago? I'm trying to think in my head the last time I saw it. Wow. You guys are, holy shit. The chat is wild. Discord is almost a decade old. You got to vet people before you broadcast. Yo, Louie, how am I going to vet them, dude? What am I going to have? Am I going to have a casting call? Have them all come down? that would be funny videos in itself. The vetting process to come on the channel. Oh, man. Even Kovalchuk fought. He knocked out a flyer. He knocked Luke Shen out with a blast on the chinny chin. Whoop, dropped him nice. 4'11", 110. No, that was that was my brother when we were kids. Oh, man. Running with the Rangers debut Sunday night. Jersey Roots, what's going on, my man? Even if you lose the fight, it's still worth leaving the fight winner with bruises and bite marks. Discord. I've been asking for Discord for a while. You got to have mods to have a Discord server, though. Nemeth said in a radio interview his shoulder was still hurting. He said that. He admitted that. Oh, my God. Can Casey teach Jack that toe drag? That toe drag is lethal. Cotter should be the first line with Heischer and Meyer, Nason with Hughes and Bratt, McD with Halla and Mercer. Match the smaller skill guys with someone who won't allow us to get limited in how we play. Cotter with Heischer and Mercer. Oh, there's no way McDermott's going to play in the third line. Scott, you're nuts, Scott. There's no way. That would be if those lines were ever on the board and they came in the locker room, I think Halla and Mercer would call their agents and ask to be traded immediately. 2012 Rico was fired. He absolutely was. Nico is the best player on the team. Overall player on the team, I agree for sure. The last time we saw Fitz, I'll vet these dirty animals for you. Getting your ass kicked as a kid makes you tougher when you're older. I 100% agree. And that's why I think my brother's a tough little bastard, because I whipped on him for all these years. Maybe we're onto something. Maybe we should look when we draft or trade for guys, especially draft, though. One of my draft questions, when they do the little questionnaires when they meet all these guys and ask them a million questions to try to get inside their head and learn more about them, I would be looking for guys that had older brothers that kicked their ass regularly. I think we're onto something here. The older brother youth abuse that forms mental and physical toughness. I'd be like, I'm young man, did you have an older brother? And did he kick your ass regularly? I'd be like, he did? How many times a week? 4 times a week he kicked your ass? For how many years? Your whole life? Congratulations, you're a devil. Boom. Getting your ass beat as a kid definitely builds character. It definitely builds toughness. And now I'm looking for guys that have older brothers that whip their ass. I think we're onto something there. I was not there tonight, thankfully. I would have been very, very depressed. Casey finds shooting lanes because he's a very good hockey player with great vision, great anticipation, sense of the game, great skating, great stick handling, and obviously a bona fide sniper. I've been on a Hockey Tubers Discord server before. It was actually pretty nice as long as you don't Wild West it. Bring back Casey. Big Mac did his job tonight. I mean, I know the Islanders. Oh, boy. He has solid mojo. I got to start reading some of these things before I just flash them up there. Send Luke down. Bring back Casey. That will never happen. Nico Heischer has been reminding everyone why he was the first overall pick. Yeah, imagine. Imagine if we didn't pick Nico Heischer. There was a lot of, I guess at the end, on most draft boards, he was the consensus number 1. But there was a lot of people that were like, I don't know about this Nico guy. Yada, yada. And a lot of people were talking, they should get Nolan Patrick. And there was a lot of people that thought that the Devils should get Nolan Patrick. And what a bullet dodge there. As the same with Jack Hughes versus Capo Caco. I think by the time of the draft, both Nico and Jack were, I want to say they were like, I don't know if they're like the overwhelming favorite to be number 1, but I think on most lists, they were number 1. But there were at least some people making a case for the other guy. And luckily the Devils made the right decision in both. And Nico Heischer and Jack Hughes, because getting either Nolan Patrick or Capo Caco with one of those picks would have been brutal. Palat needs to see the press box. There's literally no downside to it with his lackluster performance. I can't even enjoy his stupid-ass goal graphic because he scores when the planets align. You guys are brutal. Only draft guys with childhood. Yeah, trauma, I think, with brother. I don't know about trauma. Just more of like, tough love from your older brother. Yeah, just, you got whipped. You got raised with some violence. Losing a fight ain't trauma. I agree. Ducks game is a must win. It's pretty close to one. I worry about Jack's IQ. He makes some rather odd shots and passes. I don't know if it's an IQ thing as much as sometimes he's just trying to force shit to make it happen. I don't know if I necessarily recall that IQ. Hallinan and Foot over Tatar and Palat for skilled guys just don't offer. They just don't offer any more. I would love to see Hallinan. I've been talking about him since the preseason. I thought, he could be a guy that brings in a little bit of everything, a little scoring touch at times with some physicality and energy. Always like those type of players. Be very interesting to see if he cracks the lineup at any point this year in favor of somebody else. I'll admit I wanted Nolan Patrick. Still a shame how the injuries piled up and ended his career early. Never got to see what he could have been. Yeah, and injuries are part of it. Laugh got a big deal today. I didn't see that. Oh, boy. He got paid is right. Dude, these contracts are out of control. He got $7.45 million a year. Sheesh. People just getting paid on potential nowadays. Nico said in an interview that he'd be more aggressive offensively, and this is exactly what I wanted for him, just a little more offense. He's looking like an absolute sniper. Yankees just lost. Oh, baseball talk? No, I'm kidding. My heart goes out to Yankee fans. And for those that are Yankee fans, it's only game one, right? So, what an end to that game. A walk-off grand slam? What? At least they lost in style. My God. Jack Hughes is the right pick in 2019, 11 times out of 10, but I do think Kakko is a completely different player. If he had been a Devil, we would not have screwed his development like the Rangers did. Yeah, but it's still nowhere near the level of Jack Hughes. Come on. Use McDermott to install some of that brotherly love into new players and staff. It's obvious Quinny didn't kick the shit out of either Jack or Luke growing up. I definitely agree with that. That's I guess that's maybe like a new school thing, or maybe not. I don't know. I suppose every household and parents are very different. Obviously, my parents knew that when I, kicked my brother's ass, it wasn't like I was so much bigger than him. I was like toying with him, but I definitely hurt him on occasion. But not going anywhere near full force. I was literally twice his size. But, they obviously yelled at me for it and discouraged it, but they also knew I wasn't trying to kill the kid. But some parents are very like, the new age parents, I think, in society is like, violence is bad and violence is not the answer and like whatever, my parents were old school, as were a lot of my friends' parents, and siblings just kicking the shit out of each other was kind of part of everyday life. I guess in some households it still exists, but I believe society as a whole in this day and age is probably, frowned upon it, I suppose. How can you say that the Ducks game is not a must win? Because until it is actually a must win, nothing is a must win. Like, is it a very important win? Yes. But a must win is, the New Jersey Devils in the last game at home of the 95-96 season, after winning the Stanley Cup in June. The following April, they're at the Old Barn, Continental Airlines Arena, in the last game of the season, hosting the visiting Ottawa Senators, and the New Jersey Devils needed to win the game against the Senators to make the playoffs. That is a must win. When you're in the playoffs, lose, you're out. Unfortunately for the Devils, they lost former New Jersey Devil and member of the Cup team from just 10 months before. Tom Chorsky put the dagger in the boys and eliminated them from the playoffs. But that is a must win. So I can't call anything that's not true. I get very literal with that. Is it a very important game? Yes. Do they need to win? Yes. But is it a must win? No. Fitz made it seem like Foot was planned to be on the team last year before he was hurt. Whatever happened to the guy you interviewed who was in the Devils training camp, the 6'8" guy, Igor Boranumwe. He's playing in college now. I thought he was going to get some preseason games. He got invited to big camp, and I don't really know what happened. I've been meaning to follow up with him.
Yeah, he was on the roster, and I don't know what the hell happened. I was hoping to see him get some preseason games. DM Sanks, what's going on? Lazar is amazing and very consistent in his play. Am I the only one who's proud of his play? Lazar gives a great effort every night. I love Curtis Lazar. Curtis Lazar is the people's champ. Nico Hischier is worryingly fearless for how injury prone he's been. Guy's gotten his face broken before it still goes headfirst into the crease. Gotta love it. Takes a licking and keeps on ticking. Nico Hischier, the captain and the heartbeat of your New Jersey Devils. Is this guy going to get 40? Is Nico going to have 40 this year? Oh, I'd love to see it. Would love to see it. Dare I say, imagine if he got 50. I mean, listen, I don't want to jinx the guy. 40 in today's league, the game he plays, 40 would be amazing. I love Lazar. He brings a ton of effort, and he's also a cool dude off the ice. I met him at a card show, got his auto. Yeah, I met Lazar a couple times. Super nice guy. Just the people's champ, man. He's a man of the people. Fourth line grinder, brings his lunch pail to work every day. You have to be careful with terms like must win. If you use them too much, they lose all meaning. The players will just tune you out. Yeah, that's why I'm like, unless it's literally a must win, I can't call it a must win. Just got back from the game. It was my niece's first. DM Sanks, how old is your niece? We could be 20 points out with 20 games left, and Ace be like, nah, not a must-win game. We're going to get the cup. That's completely false, John. You're a clown. But again, yeah, that's a horrible analogy. You're just a doomsdayer, John. Good luck to you. Maybe one day you could, be a little more positive in life. The fact Nico is leading goal scoring with Cooch and we're still losing most games says a few things. Yeah, well, it says that the overall team play needs to improve. And our goaltending needs to get a lot better. The main problem area of last season is still a problem. I'm hoping Markstrom gets his shit together. I believe he will, but we're going to see. Pisses me off how much Nico efforts have been wasted. Have faith we'll turn it around. Hopefully this is building character. You're right. It's so early. Look at the Oilers last year. That was wild. Yeah, absolutely. But people want to just, judge the team and make their final decision on 11 games, and I'm just not that person. John can see 2 quarters next to a $20 bill, and he'd go for the 2 quarters because 2 is more than 1. Oh, man. I'll be at the game Sunday, but I'm going with 0 expectations because I was there when the Ducks and SJ made them look like clowns last season. I was there for one of those games. I forget which one. And we just gave away points to bottom feeders and at home all season long. Nico is laying it all out every night. Nobody on the team matching that effort. Completely agree. I would love to see the guys just get to, 75% of Nico's competitive nature and his compete level, and we'd be a lot better off. A lot of guys are lackadaisical, just kind of looking like they're asleep out there. All, I don't know what it is, but they need to find that next gear. Lexi from the Devils organization took us down to the penalty box for picks in the first game certificate. Very classy of them. Awesome. She is 6. Did she love it? Just trying to keep the realist alive in this fantasy land. What is fantasy land, my guy? What is fantasy land? It's not even fucking Halloween yet, bro. How are you going to call the Ducks game a must win? You're an idiot. Is it a very important game and one that they need to win or would be very good to win? Absolutely. But you're talking about a must-win game for a team that's already won 5 games, and we're not even at Halloween yet. Tell me you know nothing without telling me you know nothing. I think Nico held back offensively in prior years to tune into D responsibilities and give better matchups for teammates, but loving to see his maturity and realize he's able to hone both. Underrated. Yeah, he's great. And I feel like he's really embracing his inner sniper. I mean, some of the goals he scored, he just very quick releases, no hesitation. He's picking corners, picking great spots. And I hope he just keeps ripping all season long. I think it's going to be a career year for him offensively. And maybe, as I mentioned in a previous one, he will get a Selke. With red, black, white, sometimes green, along with Old Scouts, Rockies colors, would there be any color or color scheme you'd like to see on an NJD jersey? Pretty much I would like to see an alternate that's pretty much like I've talked about this tons of times on the channel. The black starter jersey that there was a rumor that Lou got it shelved after it was released in stores, but it's a very basic, basically like the old school jersey with the basic stripe across the thing. across the bottom, and it was a black jersey with the red stripe, and it was beautiful. Very basic, and it was beautiful. I always thought the Devils should use that as a third jersey. At one point, I was delusionally hoping that something like that would be used for the Stadium Series, but obviously I was very thrilled with the Stadium Series jersey as well. The Stadium Series jersey was an absolute thing of beauty. I'm over the green and white and the red. I mean, it's cool once in a while, but I feel like the Devils have used it a lot now, and so I'm a little bit over that. And to be honest, I liked the reverse retro they did with the Scouts Rockies colors for a one-off thing, but I have no interest in anything. I have no interest in anything like that going forward. And so for me, I'm going to stick with the red, black, and white, but primarily black. Another sick black jersey. DM Sanks, you had a lot of fun. Thank you. Thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it, sir. Cheers to you. So 6 years old, is that first grade? First grade or kindergarten? I'm curious. I brought my nephew when he was younger than that. But even at 6, I feel like, I guess it's the experience, right? They hear the music, they see the lights. She probably ate a bunch of junk food. Was she interested in the actual game at all, or just the overall experience? I'm curious. I have another little nephew that I'm trying to get into hockey a little bit more, but he's all over the place. When I go to the game, he's running around. The thing that drives me crazy is about the Doomers is anything but the Devils are doomed and I will now kill myself is unrealistic, hyper-positive fantasy talk. Nico leading in goals, Hamilton second in shots, Dougie leads NHL in block shots. Yeah, Dougie also has looked real bad on a lot of plays. I would love to see him get going. I mean, wow, what a year he had in 22-23. I really wonder if this injury is like, or his, the injury that he got the surgery for, like if it's a nagging thing and he's never going to be anywhere near the same, or if there's something else going on. Ace loving his Markstrom bromance right now. What is the Markstrom bromance? What is the Markstrom bromance? Because I'm believing that he's going to be a decent goalie for the Devils, and you guys are applauding that he's struggled after 7 games played. I don't even understand. Is John even a Devils fan? I don't even know. Shut your face, John. They really need to win Sunday. The losses have been unacceptable. I completely agree, but I'm not going to label it a must win because it's not a must win. It is a huge game, a very important game, and one that they should try their damnedest to win. But to call it a must win is an insult to actual must win games. With everyone else doing the things that Nico always does, forechecking, backchecking, maybe it's freeing up Nico to become the best version of himself in this system. I mean, Nico's still doing a lot of those things. I just think now he's making it a mission to score, and he's constantly finding open ice and getting into tight little windows where if he gets the puck, he could let off a snipe shot. And now I'm thinking, I don't know how other teams aren't trying to figure out some schemes against him, because Nico is just a complete threat now. He's everywhere. Devils are going to beat Anaheim 5-3 and then sweep the Western Canada road trip. I'm calling it now. That'd be amazing. And they did sweep. Did they sweep an entire Canada trip a couple years ago? I'd honestly love the Stadium Series NJ logo on the thirds. The Stadium Series jersey and overall is just a work of art. I cried tears of joy when I saw it. Absolutely beautiful jersey. One of the best in Devils history, in my opinion. And anything remotely like that is sick. I would rather the retro than the jerseys. Yeah, I mean, listen, the jerseys grew on me over time. I still don't love them, but I don't hate them like I did when I first saw it. When I first saw it, I absolutely hated it. I'm still not a huge fan of it, but I could tolerate it. And it does have it had potential to be so much better with a few little tweakings. It's unfortunate that they didn't, incorporate a little more red and maybe get rid of the nonsense stripes I don't really like, but it is what it is. They brought back the starter hoodie with front pouch and a quarter zip with starter zipper. Some of the old school starter products are just so sick. I have a bunch I have to find. They're all buried somewhere. Not a fan of Stadium Series jersey. Black jersey is better. Yeah, I mean, I love an all-black jersey. I would love to see one. But the Stadium Series jersey is sick, too. The black starter from back in the day, I don't know if you guys ever saw it. was an absolutely beautiful jersey. Put back the jersey bottom stripe. I definitely want the stripe back as well. It's a must-win, Ace. It's the Ducks. Again, I'm very literal when it comes to that. I don't like you're splitting hair on adjectives. Yes, I am. Yes, I am, because a must-win is a must-win. And so I don't like when that's one of my pet peeves with that. A must-win is a must-win. So don't say a must-win. Just say a very big game or something else, because it's not a must-win. First grade, she was tired, lost interest in the second period, but got back into it in the third. Lots of junk food. Yeah, kids always love the junk food, man. You got ice cream, popcorn, sugary things. You got everything there. Fountain sodas. It's sensory overload for little kids. You got the music, lights, camera, action. Music, lights. It's a dream come true for little kids. It's the second best thing to like an amusement park or a theme park. If they don't win, you may be on a ledge. I'm going to be very upset. Oh, God, you guys start. Nico Hischier is the exact kind of player that Keefe had wet dreams about when he was still in Toronto. Meyer, too. Yes, they did sweep Canada trip. Maybe Coleman struggles on a rebuilding Flame squad this year, and we could get them to retain salary for a low pick at the deadline. Was great with Nason first time around, plays with an edge. A lot of people want Pickles back. I always liked him. He's making a lot. I think he's like 5 million, 5.5. But if the deal makes sense, I think Coleman, if we're in a playoff, a position to be buyers, I think Coleman's definitely one of those types of guys that could definitely help you out in a playoff battle. All we heard last season from start to finish was it's a must-win, but must-wins are literally reserved for games at the end where we're trying to get in a playoff spot, and that's my point, Jay. I couldn't agree more, and so I don't like when it's overused. They swept it when teams were dumb enough to let us play in a non-restricted transition game. Okay, maybe. Would you ever do a video where you tier other teams, or is every other team in your F tier? I don't know. Explain to me a little bit what that means. I don't fully understand what that means. They haven't won a game in jerseys. Yes, at one point last season, NJ was undefeated versus Canada. Did you ask Fitz if he watches the show? Obviously, Fitz watches the show, Brandon. You saw, I was like, put McDermott in. McDermott was in tonight. Obviously, Fitz is in the chat right now. Shout out to Fitzy. Appreciate you, my man. Slow the Devils down in the neutral zone. Devils lost, no playoffs. Man, John, you really are like the head doomsdayer. My God. John Woodson, no team has ever let them play non-restricted transition games. They got the saves they needed for that system 22, 23, and didn't the next year. I mean, yeah, the goaltending went from pretty damn good to horrific. Another player I absolutely love is Adam Lowry. Feels like a great fit for the squad, but would take a lot to get him. You alluded to it before. We need a big presence down the middle that's affordable. I've been dying for a big, nasty center for a long time. And, we don't have it. I would love to see one. But, I would like a really nasty big winger for Jack as well. Someone with that skill set would be great. I agree. 22-23 was a flute. I think he meant fluke before teams adjusted to our game. You don't get 112 points off of fluke, man. You're splitting hairs. Yeah, words have meaning. That's the foundation of human communication. Fucking Anaheim is an orange win. It's a fucking orange. Do you like the thick stripes, or would you want to go back to the older stripes style? What do you mean by older? Hold up. I'm just gonna give me 1 second. Actually, I'm gonna grab a show and tell piece. It's nothing that exciting because someone asked about this before and I've been meaning to show it. I'm gonna take a leak real quick. I always wash my hands, so please don't write wash your hands in the chat. And this is on topic, a show and tell piece that's on topic for what we're talking about here. And I'll be right back. It's a jersey that's on topic of we're talking about stripes and all this shit. So it's a perfect transition for me to take a leak, go grab these jerseys. I'll be right back. And Chico with the Y. I'll be right back. I'm going to go grab a jersey. I'll be right back.
All right. So on the topic of jerseys, I basically wear the same jersey. Well, I don't always wear a jersey to a game, but if I do wear a jersey, it's always this. This is my 2003 authentic Coho, the great Martin Brodeur. And I think the great Martin Brodeur, nice and heavy. I love these Coho jerseys. This is from 03. I think I bought it in 03. I've been wearing it proudly for 21 years. But the stripe on this, I think, is beautiful. I love it. Black and white, basic stripe. This is the default stripe. When I picture Devils jerseys in my head, whenever I picture great moments, this is the stripe I would like to see return to the jersey. So I will forever be partial or biased to this and would love to see this kind of stripe return. Jersey has a phenomenal kit. The shadowed numbers are absolutely beauty in person. Problem is, while the stripes I learned actually have meaning, they look so chaotic. Yeah, it was like an ode to the Bulldogs, right? Or whatever that Newark team was. I don't love it. I guess this is in reference to Timo. He has 4 goals in 11 games as a known player that heats up over time. Yeah, and that's in reference to here. Timo was signed to be a 40-goal scoring power forward superstar. What happened? I'm happy with 30-30 out of Timo. Get 60 points, smash guys a little bit, be a nuisance, get under people's skin, and he definitely does. He has a little bit of that Claude Lemieux agitator in him, and get 60 points and be on a winning team and have some big playoff performances. That's fine for me. I'm losing it, man. These doomers are going to have me shouting at pigeons in the park. Calgary is 5-1-1 right now. Coleman not going anywhere. Amagi. He's bringing the game used locker room hand soap for show and tell. I have some. Yeah, I got some funny ones that you're really going to die when that you're gonna die when I show them. I'm gonna make sure I let you know, Magi, beforehand. Man's touching priceless memorabilia with pee-pee hands. Never. And I still think those people that walk out of the bathroom at the Rock without washing their hands, they need to be shamed publicly. It's not a coincidence that the Doomers also have the room temperature IQ takes, is all I'm saying. John Woodson equals another one of SST burner accounts. Sorry, I had to. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm smoking pork shoulder right now for tomorrow, and I think I'm about to have a midnight stack. Nice. If you didn't say anything about the midnight snack and it just said I'm smoking pork shoulder, when I first started reading that, I was like, is pork shoulder one of these like new scientific strands of weed they're selling in like the weed shops? That's what like pork shoulder. I never heard of that one. Maybe I'm just a degenerate. We got some fights in there. Thick stripes like we have now on the arms and socks versus when we had more smaller stripes on the old gen jerseys. I guess adding into someone saying bringing back the bottom stripe on the jersey. I wonder what a bottom stripe would look like along with retaining the thicker stripes. Need to play Curtis McDermott more. Couldn't agree more. The entire team needs to play more like Curtis McDermott. Yes, they do. I think we need to also remember how blessed we are. 3 cups in 30 years is a blessing. Living near Toronto all my life has always been amazing. Always having that up on my Leafs friends. Marty is the GOAT. Absolutely. That jersey looks insanely good for being 23 years old. Props for taking care of it. Yeah, thank you. I always took care of it. Obviously, I really only wear it to games, and I also wear other things to games. So when you look closely, there is a little signs of, friction and things from over the years, like rubbing on arenas, chairs and shit. But I always, took care of it pretty well. It was always one of my prized possessions. And I've been a big boy for years and years. And so that's why also I have so many, so many different Devils jackets and hoodies and sweatshirts and shit, because I've been basically wearing
XL and double XLs since I was young, and I've been a fan forever, and I've taken care of most of my Devil shit. I probably lost a couple over the years, but for the most part, I've accumulated. Essentially, if I had them all in one location, which I don't, maybe I'll, that's a project. Maybe for a rainy day, I'll try to gather all my Devils gear and kind of put it in one of my closets. It's going to take up a shitload of space. It's crazy. It isn't Fanatics. That's why. Yeah, Coho was quality shit. It's super heavy and thick. It's beautiful. Apparently, the 5 stripes also represent the 5 retired players' numbers we have in the rafters. Cool idea, just not executed well. You have no idea unless someone. I remember hearing about that. Yeah, it's a little bit of a stretch, I think. Like, come on. Let's Love how I randomly found out we have the same birthdays randomly as a new fan on the hockey card on the back of a craft dinner box. If you guys in the USA know what that is. I vaguely remember seeing these on the boxes back in the day. The Devil's Den is selling 2000 Cup team member Mitchell and Ness jerseys. Elias Lemieux. I don't know who the second one is. Niedermeyer. Who the hell's Holiday? I'm trying to think who that could be. Is that supposed to be Holik? I don't like the Mitchell and Ness jerseys. I'm a purist, and I will tell you guys, I've been collecting game-worn jerseys for about 20 years or so, and so I'm a total jersey snob. When I see the cheap, no offense to these, if any of you guys have these, but when I see the cheap overseas jerseys, I cringe. When I see people wearing Marty Brodeur Adidas jerseys, I cringe. And to me, the Mitchell and Ness re-releases of the older jerseys are just another one of those exact things. I just can't do it. I personally can't do it. I know I'm the minority, but I'm a take it or leave it person for the bottom stripe. No stripe makes the arm and leg stripes pop out. Okay, I can see. Ace, you taking my steak dinner bet? How are we going to enforce that? You're a screen name in a chat on a live stream. I love the atmosphere at the Rock, but man, the Doomers are crazy in this fan base. I say that living in the middle of Leafs Nation, so that's something. 3 cups, guys, more to come. I hope you're right, Scott. It's been a long time. I wonder what a Taylor Ham weed strain would be like. My friend wants to spend $220 on the power line or whatever Mitchell and Ness with Niedermeyer on it. I keep convincing him not to. Dude, don't do it. For a little bit more, listen, Amagi, hit me up. I'll tell you where to go. I know you have some resources, but I might have a couple more, maybe. If he wants a Niedermeyer jersey, buy the real deal from back then and get it customized. If you can't already find one customized, there is no need to buy that Mitchell and Ness garbage. Make him buy the real deal thing. The Doomers. No one is saying the team is perfect. They have a lot to work on. I certainly rank their problems a little differently than most in here, but it's the first month of the season. Yeah, and that's, again, we're not even at Halloween. We're not even at Halloween. Pork roll. Oh, no, not a pork roll. Still a lot of work to do and time to do it, and could not agree more. We're not at Halloween. We're not at Halloween. Cut patch looks solid. Stitching was good. No, those jerseys are shit, True Patriot. I saw the Niedermeyer one. I could have sworn it was a 2003. I could be mistaken, but I saw one, and it is shit. Complete shit. No one buy it. It's Taylor Ham. Yo, Holmes, I agree. Hello, I'm an Islander fan, but I often go with the Metropolitan team that lowers the blood pressure. Am I welcome? What do you mean you often go with the Metropolitan team? I don't know what that means, Ronald, but everyone's welcome here. I don't know exactly what you mean by that, but all are welcome. Just like Tom Fitzgerald says, no dickheads. I try my best. No dickheads. Sorry, Holik. Okay, I thought so. The cut patch improved from the last one they made, but lots of screen printing, heat pressing, or whatever on those things. They're overpriced Fanatics jerseys. Yes, they are. Nothing like a clean CCM. Oh, man. If you're talking about the Ultrafill, ooh, the CCM Ultrafill is the greatest jersey ever made. There is nothing like it whatsoever. The CCM Ultrafills, I actually have one of those that I forgot about that I'm going to start in my rotation. Legends only. I will show that jersey when it's done. It's missing one little thing for the customization, and it'll be the other jersey I rotate in with the great Martin Brodeur Coho that I just showed. Knockoff jerseys are just a waste. Better off buying a t-shirt or hat or something and just saving up however long it takes a really nice jersey, in my opinion. Yeah, if it's a money issue, I couldn't agree more. I think those jerseys are trash. Just I know this is a side note, but do you happen to have tracking numbers for shipping? I still haven't got my shirt yet, and I'm an NJ. Email me, Ron. I'm still new at all this. Everything definitely went out. For some reason, when the site, I thought the shipping notification sent the tracking numbers, and then I realized that it didn't, and it just, I think, emailed you that it shipped without the tracking number, which is really stupid, and technology sucks. But email me, and I will get that to you right away. I'm just looking at something here. Yeah, I told him if he sources the real deal, my friend can put the kit on for him. Then he can just get a Stanley Cup patch off eBay, but he's lazy and just wants to fast track to a crappy jersey. Don't let him do it. Friends, don't let friends buy crappy jerseys. What's the rarest or most interesting player name you've seen a fan wearing at the Rock? I went with my Hughes jersey. When I see people with Zajac or White, I felt a little jealous. I mean, if you think Zajac or White are rare. I mean, they're not commonplace, but I wouldn't say they're exactly rare. Rare would be like, something really wild. Like, let me think. I'll think of a rare one for you. Like, something like Mike Dunham would be pretty rare. So random old school name for you, Mike Dunham. But Zajac and I guess Zajac and White are rare. They're just not super rare. So I mean, you have a fair point there. You see all kinds of random jerseys from over the years. Sometimes I've seen people rocking old school Albany River Rats. There's you see a lot of different jerseys at a game if you pay attention. Nemitz jersey with an A on it is Aces. Yeah, that was wild, man. What was that about? Hey, if you're super cool, then you're welcome to tell a story. After the game I went to versus St. Louis, the St. Louis fans are very well behaved with us, and I actually thank them for being very cool and partying. Yeah, most hockey fans aren't D-bags, but a lot of Rangers fans are. Remember Nike jerseys? I wanted the Devils to have their jerseys made by Nike so bad. I loved all the Nike equipment. I remember for a couple years, the guys had the Nike helmets and some of the Nike gloves. I loved Nike as a kid. And so when they got into the jersey and like apparel game, I remember when they were doing equipment. I had a really cool Nike stick for a little while. One of those aluminum shafts with the, composite blade. Man, what an era for Nike. I really wish the Devils, had them make their jerseys for you, but it never happened. CCM was another level, definitely. 2000 pro players are also beautiful. Love the 2000 pro players. My first jersey is red CCM Ultrafeld Devils. Nice. Was there a name on it? Did you have somebody? I only got an email that the order was received. I'll send you an email now. Okay, perfect. I don't know how the culture is totally in the U.S. Europe, sometimes you have a legit risk to life to certain sports games because of other fans. Some Euro fans are rabid and not in a good way. Do you mean like Green Street Hooligans? I saw this movie years ago, Green Street Hooligans. It was about the football, aka soccer gangs in I forget what country. And there were straight up gangs. Straight up gangs. I'm just trying to pull something up here. Game's been over for hours, still going on about crappy loss. Yeah, now we're just kind of all over the place. Typically towards the end of these things, people just start talking about random shit and we just bullshit here for a while. Mel Bridgman. Yeah, that would be an old school, very obscure one. Volchenkov, definitely right up that alley. Pat Verbeek, I haven't seen one in a while, but that would obviously be another vintage gem. Scott Clemenson, Chris Terreri. Dude had a Fetisov on the other night. Okay. Sorry for something to the chat, but how about that beautiful hit on Romanov? Oh, Curtis McDermott with the helmet popper special. Love me some Curtis McDermott. I think he should be playing way more. I called for him after last night's game. Sometimes you just need, you need that You need that alpha male in the lineup to shake it up, and McDermott is that guy. Dunham was a goalie. It's spelled Dunham. Number 1, Mike Dunham, Dunham. Kirk McLean, that'd be a rare one. Nike skates, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I remember when they started getting in the hockey game. It was a big deal. Nike and Devils would have been beautiful. They looked so banger on the Detroit jersey. Yeah, I loved it. I was so jealous of the teams that had it. I think they did San Jose one year, maybe Chicago. I'm trying to think of all the teams they did. And I was like, damn it, can the Devils get Nike, please? And then they got out of the jersey game before they had any chance. I had Nike skates in high school. Nice. I like interacting with the away fans, and they're especially caught off guard when I compliment their fit. There was a dude at the TBL game with that Bolts jersey. He appreciated my comment. It was dope. Yeah, most hockey fans are normal, man. It's just, few and far between. You meet the ones that need to get the jersey over their head and just get CCM with the real patch, not the heat press on bottom and back. Yeah, that's the Ultrafill with the thick block letters stitched into it. Oof. Crickets when I wore my Brodeur All-Star jersey to MSG. That's a beautiful jersey, Amagi. Green Street Hooligans was awesome about the soccer firms in England. There's your famous GSC. I might be butchering that. I haven't seen it in years, but me and my brother used to watch that and get pumped. My dad had a friend in the police who told him when one of the major soccer games happened in my country, they had to deal with 8 attempted murders. My God. Murder over fandom. Yeah, hockey's not that crazy. That's wild. I'm very thankful to hockey fans in general for being somewhat mostly cool, even extending to Rags fans. Yeah, I've met some good ones. They're few and far between on the internet. But I have a few good friends in real life that are Ranger fans, and I grew up in northern New Jersey where hockey wasn't very popular at all back in the early 90s. And most of the hockey fans, and there was very few, were Ranger fans, in fact, because of, the Devils being a newer franchise. A lot of people's parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, etc. were all Ranger fans, so they were brought up that way. So now we're kind of seeing first and second generation Devil fans kind of make up the fan base. I miss coming to these streams hyped. Ain't your fault, but I've said all I can say about the team right now. Hope everyone is doing well. Otherwise, yeah, riot and respect. Like I said, the loser beers don't taste nearly as good as the winning beers, and deflecting all the the doomsdayers is pretty tough in here. I have a Sean Burke jersey, very nice. Mel Bridgman had one great hockey mustache. Man, when's the next time I'm taking my Heat Press DH Gate Heischer Stadium Series jersey? Yeah, those Stadium Series jerseys look like orange. A lot of people have commented on that. Yeah, they're like traffic cone orange. I'm a hockey nut and sell PSA hockey cards on Instagram and eBay. Nice. I kind of got out of cards a while ago. I was a big card collector up until probably like 01 or 02. I remember going to all the local card shows, buying boxes to shred, chasing all the Devils rookie cards and inserts. And then I eventually kind of got more into like autographs. And then I eventually got into like game used sticks, which eventually got into game used jerseys. But I still have some of my hockey cards from when I was a kid. They're super cool. If NJDF stayed in Colorado, would this have been running with the Flyers Rags? There's a very good chance if the Devils never if the Devils were never in New Jersey, there's a good chance that I never became like a rabid hockey fan. I'd probably just be like a very, 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 very casual hockey fan like I am of most sports. Yeah, I'll tell my whole story how I became like a crazy fan, I suppose, one day. It's I guess it's not that interesting of a story, but some people find it interesting. But yeah, I probably wouldn't be a huge hockey fan if the Devils weren't in New Jersey or never came to New Jersey. My first jersey was blank, but I did come to acquire a white home CCM Ultrafill Captain Kirk jersey. Beautiful. Orange with a nice light gray crest. The fake reverse retro ones, the rock, are the funniest because the green makes them look like literal walking Christmas decorations. It's so bright. I watched your Stanley Cup pendant top purchase with Rick. Nice. Yeah, that was definitely an interesting one. I just kind of had a thought. I wish our defense started throwing some hard open ice hits to make teams double think of just skating into our zone for free. Yeah, guys got to just start smashing people. I think people need to smash people. I don't know how that gets taught. if guys don't want to hit. Oh, what's up, Matt? I hear Dougie's a shoo-in for the Norris this year. I would have happily paid for and rocked the He Shirt or Jack Hughes Authentic, but no, they had to cancel it. No, it's worth a video. It'd be great. Maybe. Very cool piece. Thank you. All right, guys. If anyone has anything else, let's turn into another marathon. I always enjoy BSing with you guys. It sucks that it was on the tails of another New Jersey Devils loss. I guess somewhat lessening the blow is the fact that we did get the loser point, but it does suck. It absolutely sucks. I wish it wasn't the case, and I wish we got the win. It was such a tease that we had the late game heroics. We claw back in it only to just fucking blow it in overtime. It really, really is painful, but a point is better than nothing. Pheasant and VTech on the way too. Oh boy. Does anyone have a new Fanatics authentic jersey? Are they much different than Adidas? They got to be better than their fan gear. I'm pretty sure. I'll double check. I haven't gotten one in my hands yet. I'll have one in the not too distant future, but my buddy just got one in the mail, I think today. And as far as I know, Adidas or Fanatics rather was using the same factory as Adidas. So supposedly it's supposed to be like virtually identical minus the logo, but I'll have him. Maybe we'll do a video. I have a 93 Gilmore jersey. When he left, I changed it to Doc Emmerich, the best commentator ever, Ace. Wolf Rockin', couldn't agree with you more. Mike Doc Emmerich, absolute legend, soundtrack of my childhood, a crucial figure in New Jersey Devils history. The guy is an absolute legend. And you can't say enough good things about Doc. I mean, he just was so good for so long. Basically, the standard for broadcasting, and not only the best hockey broadcaster ever. I would argue one of the best broadcasters in sports, period. Speaking of merch, when can we take another trip to the Goalie Mask Vault? Well, here, for those that don't know, I just dropped the link in the chat. My buddy Jordan has an insane collection of Devils goalie masks from over the years. And I had to break it up because we rambled on for much longer than I anticipated. So we were bullshitting and shooting the shit. So I just dropped the link in the chat there. You can see it in the chat. That was part one of the video we did a couple weeks ago. Part two is premiering Monday at 7 p.m. is the second half of the video where we go through the rest of his masks. I mean, yeah, F that loser point, but you rather have it than not. Did we have the most packed schedule in October? I believe so, but I'd have to double check. But either way, it was insanely packed. So we'll see. I think it was among the most packed. And Keith kind of referred to it. I didn't get to see his final comments because I was late to the stream, I think by a minute or something, because I didn't push the stream back and it went to overtime. So by the time Keith was on, I saw a couple questions before this started. So I jumped on and didn't get to see it. But he was talking heavily about the the schedule and the insane, grueling kind of pace that we're playing with in October. Guys, if we don't win Sunday, I'm switching to a team that knows how to win. Future's bright in Salt Lake. Get clubbed. Oh, boy. I think we somewhat recovered some of our moods tonight, or at least I did. Think we got a cool thing going on with these streams. Yeah, shout out to everyone for coming. Thank you. I really do enjoy it. It's much more enjoyable when we win and the Doomsdayers are in hiding. But when you go on a thing like this skid, the Doomsdayers are out. NHL Shield is different, no dimples, different tagging, not a whole lot of differences, and none are substantial. Selling them with the RWJ patch on at the Den is hilarious, though. Are they selling the Authentics in the Den? I haven't been in the Den. I actually don't think I've been in the Den since the preseason. I walked through real quick. What's your favorite Devils baseball cap? Dude, I have so many hats. I don't even, what is this one? Oh, this is just a standard. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I guess if I had to pick one, there's one that will never be topped, and it's the 1995 Stanley Cup champion hat by Starter, with the Devils logo with the Canadian American flags. Absolutely beautiful piece. I ain't getting one there, just the same as Adidas. Horvat and Lee scoring the same type of play. Losing coverage behind the net is what bothered me most about tonight. Matt and Maven, best intermission host too. Oh, absolutely. Loved Matt and the Maven. Luke, do you remember Chuck the Duck when the fucking the stuffed duck would get lowered down with the rope? The yellow duck? Man. The good old days. Oh, shit. Ace, I wear my Stephane Richer jersey once in a while. Number 44, Stephane Richer. Absolute cannon blast of a shot. 1995 legend. Love me some Stephane Richer. Chuck the Duck. Did I say Chuck or did I say something else? Did I mess up his name? I can't remember what I just said, but I referred to it before I saw your comment. Yeah, that stupid yellow thing come dropping down from the ceiling. Absolutely, my friend. Thanks, Ace. Good night, brother. Have a good night, Wolf Rockin'. I have a center ice cap that is way undersized, but it's too iconic from my childhood. But athlete logos state tail cap is pretty dope. I don't know what that one is. I would be curious to see what the center ice one is. That point is like touching a tit through a bra. I mean, what kind of analogy is this? What kind of... I saw a dude with a Fanatics jersey with RWJ patch on it. It made me upset. Yo, listen, if you start getting upset by every jersey foul you see, you're going to be upset if you're paying attention and you walk, depending on how much you walk around the intermission, no less than hundreds of times per game. I mean, there's jersey fouls everywhere. There's DH gate jerseys everywhere. There's legends on jerseys they never wore. You see Scott Stevens on, more current day throwbacks, whether the reverse retros or whatever. You got Marty Brodeur Adidas. Shout out to my man Chase. Drop a like for this guy. Yeah, please, if you could. I would love to, I would love to earn your like. Give me a like. Mike Dunham's Albany mask. I just need to pause the video to admire that mask. Oh my God, I love it. That and the Taz picture got my eyes like a cat on the catnip. Yeah, my buddy Jordan has some real sick masks. And the second part of the video is going to debut, like I said, I think is Monday. Monday night at 7 p.m. is part 2 of the video. I guess I'll drop that link right here as well. Part 2 is coming Monday premiere. I'll be in the chat for that, for whoever makes it out for that. They have the Indo Adidas equivalent in the Devil's Den for sale. But do they have the authentic, like the on ice? I believe it's $425 retail. Do they have those? Do they have those in the shop? Win or lose, we booze. Through joy or strife, remember to hit the like. L or dub if you aren't already, drop a sub. I like that, Stick Fix. Thanks. Okay, yeah, so not the $400 ones, I don't think. That is brutal. Chuck the Duck. I have an authentic Jack Hughes 86 jersey willing to sell. Who wants? Speaking of intermissions, I was grabbing a beer with friends and a Devils rep wanted to take us down to the ice for skee ball during second intermission. Did you do it? Then he texted me and said, my bad, they already got other people for it. Oh, I'd been like, I need a rain check, my man. There's a reason the road of the Jersey snob is one not often traveled. I mean, just look at that grumpy old man Ace. Yeah, it's true. It is true. I wish there was a good source for good NJD jerseys in Europe, especially if you ain't got much money. My advice would be to save up and buy one online. Buy a Puck Goblin. How long have you been a Devils fan? That's always my first question. For anyone who's been a fan long enough to see legendary players, I would say, don't get caught up in the hype of current players and buy a jersey of a legend. You know why? Because they'll always be legends. My Marty jersey that I've had for 20 years, that shit ain't never going out of style. You know why? Because my man got 3 Stanley Cup rings and his number up in the rafters at the Rock. Amagi, I was always wondering how they get people on the ice for those. I've always wanted to do the one where you're in the bubble just laying hits. Oh, dude, Riot and Respect. You're talking about dude. It's almost like a sumo wrestler costume, but it's just a big plastic bubble and they ram each other. I have wanted to do that more than anything. They probably only pick smaller people to do it. If I did it, it'd be a homicide, because there's no way that if I drop down and just beelined at somebody in one of those bubble things that they wouldn't just get probably airborne. Jack is playing like Tiny Tim right now. I will ship to Europe. Worst part is the people that got for the skee ball were so bad as Dougie's defensive efforts this season. Since 2022. All right, so Puck Goblin. So you got to get a jersey of someone that you saw play. So as a newer fan, I would tell you right now, if I had to advise a younger player, a younger fan rather, on a jersey to get, I would say to get yourself a number 13 Nico Hischier jersey with that beautiful C on it. And that's going to be in style for a long time. Either a Devils employee has someone in mind or they grab a rando. My friend works for the Woo Crew and he could bring friends for prize games. Nice. Ace, do you only wear Devil jerseys as opposed to what? True Patriot. I would have been there for the coin shuffle for a Jack Hughes auto, but he didn't know I was at the game until it was too late. Okay, yeah. Who else is rocking a Brendan Smith jersey? Invest in these guys early and you'll be one of a kind. I think it was when the Devils still had Zetterland. My friend has a Brendan Smith Stadium jersey because he said he'd get one if he scored a goal at MetLife. I mean, that's sensible. That is sensible. All right, any other? The best jersey I have, I just cut off, is a Brian Giunta Coho. Nice. Love Brian Giunta. Legend. Devils single season goal leader with 48. Jack was looking to threaten it a couple years back, but he didn't quite make it there, and the Giunta record lives to see another year. Other NHL All-Star players, nope, just Devils. Just Devils. Yeah, I can't see myself ever letting another logo touch my skin. It'd feel treasonous. Although, on this point, if I ever win the lottery or ever somehow come into a shitload of money, it's not jerseys that I would wear, but I would love to buy game-worn jerseys of all the legends that I watched growing up, like the 90s, early 2000 legends, like, Mario Lemieux on the Penguins and Yager Penguins and, Brett Hull Stars and Mike Modano Stars and Joe Sakic Avs, like all the legends of that time. I would love to own their game-worn jerseys, like to have in a collection, but I would never wear a different team's jersey. Your friend knows Puck, legend in the making. I'm a huge Mario fan, so I wear some of the old Mario ones. Yeah, I would love a Lemieux. Now the prices on some of that stuff has gotten so crazy, but I always loved Mario Lemieux when I was a kid as well. I'm looking for some legacy jerseys, Arizona Coyotes and Quebec Nordiques specifically. The old school Nordique jerseys are sick. I hate to admit I own 2 NYR jerseys. Yuck. Feels disloyal to me too, Ace. Yeah, I just can't do it. I'd wear a Yotes jersey. I've been thinking of getting a Heischer jersey next, particularly the green one. Not real, but I have Hughes home, a new one with Stevens on the back, and old CCM style one with Danico. Nice. Can never go wrong with that either. Amagi, I feel you. I would buy a blank Liberty logo just because I think the logo is badass. However, it would never see the light of day. You're talking about the old school Ranger, the Statue of Liberty jersey? Is that what you're referring to? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I think I need to get a new phone soon. I've been cracking this thing around for a while now, and the battery doesn't last long. I hate Apple. I wish I could. Does anyone have a non-Apple phone? I really want to break free of Apple, but I'm getting like anxiety thinking about it. After the Devils, Calgary has the nicest jersey. My ex made me wear her RAF jersey for a few minutes and have her take pics, and we lost to them. Who's RAF? RAF jersey. The Devils without the stripes isn't the same for me. Oh, Rafalski. Okay. Wait, what team? She made you wear a Rafalski jersey for... I'm a little confused. My ex made me wear her. Oh. That's why I was like, what? All right. So Rags. Got it. Yeah, it's like Rafalski. Then I'm like, wait, are you not a Devils fan? Nah, man, that confused the shit out of me. It's late at night. I'm all delirious. Now it makes sense. She made you wear a Rangers jersey when we lost them. Yeah, it's terrible. Devils out the stripes isn't the same. I got a Fanatics Laffy. Reverse Retro 2.0 for $12 from Lids and a $90 2020 because the cheap deal. Never wore them, though, except for a hangout at a friend's place once. Sell that shit and buy Devil stuff. NYI got the Fisherman and NYR got the Liberty logo. Why didn't we get anything? I mean, listen, we got the logo. We got the logo freed from the Circle jail. I just picked up a Bruins third because I want to get Swayman on it since I love the guy. Android, baby. I'm trying to get the courage to get there. I love the Kachina jersey, and I think it's a franchise that deserves much better. Yeah, the whole thing's pretty unfortunate how that went down in the desert. Google Pixel here, it's pretty decent for an Android. Pixel gang rise up. It looks like, the non-iPhone users are maybe rags, it was supposed to say. Not the MIR Stadium series, but NGL for that price. I'd invest. Allerman Fisherman is amazing. I got a Fanatics 2.0 for $20 with that goofy Fisherman. All right, good night, Devils fans. Hoping we can have a victory drink on Sunday. I got the Owls and Flyers ones too. Good night, Stick Figs. I got the Owls and Flyers ones too to complete the set because I'm a goober. Back in the day, the Fisherman jersey was made fun of. Capitals should go back to the Eagle. Man, those were sick jerseys. Oh, question. Head, heart, and guts of the Devils. Who would you put out? Who would you put there? So far, I got Stevens, Brodeur for head, Danico for heart. I mean, you could easily put Stevens for guts. Lou wouldn't have allowed it back in the 90s. That's why. Yeah, Lou made sure we didn't get anything. He's like, make sure the Devils don't get anything too crazy, okay? I'd rather get... Yeah, that's funny. I got a Pixel older one. It's a nice one, but it's like a chubby guy with weed munchies in a Chinese restaurant on the battery. Yeah, that's the thing. I need battery to last. I feel like I'm constantly carrying those extra battery packs. I mean, I have had this phone for a few years, but like, the battery shouldn't die so easily. Good night, y'all. Pray for W Sunday for the Doomers. They're on watch. Yeah, they definitely are. I'd personally never wear a Rangers jersey in public. I would never live it down with my Ranger friends, family. I would never wear it, period. Hello, Ace. I've been watching of your live stream but haven't commented yet. Hello, Kobe. Wait, Kobe, you're a Panthers fan, right? I believe you're a Panthers fan, and the Devils are your 1B team. I'd put a lot for a heart. What happens if the Devils allow like 5-6 goals against the Ducks and lose? Lou didn't even want the Devils to switch practice jerseys after the lockout. They were wearing the old style ones for a bit. I lost the bet. We owned them for the longest time, and that was the year they started getting back at us. Yeah, it's crazy that there was that stretch where I think we were unbeaten against them for like 29 years. Yeah, about to wrap it up here. Did you ever comment on the Tom Gliddy fight? No, I would read it. I never really commented a lot on any of those things. I would enjoy reading them, but like most places, the forums and everything, I mean, most of them are just completely wild. So I never bothered to engage because I would just get mad and like, what's the point? It's also time consuming to go back there and, arguing with people, but I definitely enjoyed reading it. Panthers, Kraken are my two teams, but the Devils are my other favorite Eastern team. If we go bet on the Ducks on its press box, the players needs being locked in a cage for boy, oh boy. If the tickets weren't so expensive, I'd advocate for a running with the Devils raid at MSG so we could all spend the night in a jail cell. That's my biggest fear about going there. That's why I might go with some Ranger fan friends, unfortunately, and hope we win because they'll be roasting me mercilessly if we lose. But I feel like if I go with Ranger fan friends, then that will prevent other Rangers fans from being obnoxious and trying to fight me because, I throw haymakers with the best of them. And I don't need any legal troubles in my advanced stage of life. Going to get my brother a Palat jersey for his birthday next month. I mean, damn, what did your brother ever do to you to deserve such a thing, right? In respect. Rich Share sucked. Rich Share was all we had, Luke. I would go either in the library at school or wherever and go jack the sports page from the Star Ledger and look for whatever little column he had in the paper that day about the Devils. Obviously, pre-social media, really pre-tons of sports coverage on the internet. All I had was Rich share and his whatever he wrote in the Star Ledger. Whatever he did, I go rummage that sports page, and I jack it from the library all the time. I try to get there early before someone else would do it. I've just dropped by to let you all know things will be fine. The Devils are too talented to keep losing. They'll tighten things up and easily make the playoffs, so you all get a sound night's sleep. Well, Nomar, I hope you are correct. I think they're going to make the playoffs too. I just don't know how easily that's going to happen. Also, you're the best hockey YouTuber thus far. Well, thank you. That's probably not true, but I appreciate the kind words, and thanks for watching. Thoughts on McDermott tonight? Love the big hit and fight. Needs to play more. Jack, I am a Curtis McDermott advocate until the day I die. I loved him. We signed him. People are like, we paid him too much, and he can't skate. And blah, blah, blah. The toughest man in the National, doling out punishment when necessary. And tonight you saw what a man like him can do in only 2.5 minutes of ice time. And that is delivering a thunderous, destructive open ice hit on Romanov, a helmet popper special. My man was crushed. His helmet came off. Blood came out of his mouth. The Devils got momentum, eventually scored a goal a couple minutes later. And then obviously that was the tie of the game. Couldn't ride the wave of momentum for the go-ahead goal and ultimately still lost the game in overtime. But I do believe that was a kind of turning point of the game. I can't speak highly enough about Curtis McDermott. I called for him to be in the lineup tonight after that brutal loss in Detroit last night where things were a little chippy and I didn't see enough of the physical stuff embraced by the Devils, and I wanted to see him out there, and I'm a big advocate of his. I think he should play maybe not every game, but way more often than he has. And you don't have to give him a ton of ice time, but give him enough shifts to go out there and do something. Oh, no, I'm definitely wrapping up soon. Oh, my God, yeah, it's super late. Super late. I guess there's people all over the world in here. That's why. I was at the game tonight. Fun atmosphere. Sucks we lost in overtime. Yeah, absolutely. Someone's going to bring up the idea of Ace getting a press pass. Then the MSG camera footage of Ace throwing out suplexes to Rags is going to be presented as evidence. Rich Share in the Daily News. Yeah, Rich Share, man. The original guy I would get my news from. They had a 6-game winless streak in 22-23. Slumps happen. Yeah, it sucks that it's happening this early, but I hope this is the worst of it and we get out of it as soon as possible and don't look back. Sometimes it's not about skating and stats. It's about putting the cat amongst the pigeons and so that kittens can feel braver. Well, listen, Curtis McDermott went out there and did the damn thing. In very limited ice time, he gave you a helmet popper special, and then he threw down afterwards. It was sick. This team reminds me of Johnny Mac's first and only year. Not a knock on Keefe because it's a carryover from last year. Yeah, Keefe better figure it out. He better figure it out in a hurry. The Rangers, Flyers, and Bruins fan base are the only three that give constant issues each time they come to Sunrise, Florida. It's going to be like 1999 Kane in a 6-on-1 handicap match when the press pass happens. What press pass are you talking about? I'm not legit enough to be considered media, guys. I'm just an idiot YouTuber to the world, or at least the New Jersey Devils. It is funny. I just laugh and see the people, the questions they're asking, and I'm like, man, I'm getting gate kept. You're gatekeeping me. And, some of these people, whatever organizations they work for, asking the dumbest questions all the time. But it is what it is, guys. I'm just going to have to be the people's champ. I'm never getting anywhere with them. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Actually, real media. Does it suck losing? They ask terrible questions. It's painful, but and other stupid questions. Yeah. Got to make sure the questions aren't too extreme or confrontational. I mean, why even ask questions? They're questions for the sake of asking questions, and that's what I hate. Like, it's just like, if you don't have anything of substance to ask, then don't fucking ask a question. Like, you're pissing the guys off, and that's why a lot of the guys, including Jack, hate the media, because the questions are excruciating. I'm waiting for a player to look at them and be like, "Are you a moron?" Once in a while, you've seen, Keith showed a little agitation the other day, and then was finally like, "Does anyone else have a question?" Like, what, But they're supposed, they're trained to be like nice to the media, but these people are asking ridiculous questions. Best and worst regular season games you've ever been to? Ooh, that's a good one, Jack. I guess for regular season, it would have to be a tie. It'd be like a 10-way tie for all the Stanley Cup banner raising games. I guess. Am I not? Are you just talking about the actual game, or like, yeah, or are you taking into consideration like ceremonies and shit? Because if you're talking about, ceremonies and stuff, the cup, the opening, basically it's the home opening games from the year after they won a cup when they would raise the banner. Those are always super special. Obviously, all of the Devils jersey retirement nights, I was at all of those. Those were all regular season games. So, Scott Stevens, Ken Danico, Scott Niedermayer, Martin Brodeur, Patrick Eliash. Those were all regular season games. Those were all awesome. And obviously, I'm trying to think. 550, the Marty 552 win against Chicago would probably be, if we're taking ceremonies out of it. Exciting game down to the end. Blackhawks tried to tie it up. They couldn't. And Marty broke the NHL all-time wins record on the same night that Patrick Eliash broke the New Jersey Devils all-time franchise scoring record of Johnny Mack. So that's probably the best regular season game. Worst regular season game? The worst, I don't know, because it's a regular season game. So, like, how bad? There wouldn't be any ones that would, like, kind of linger on. I'd have to think about it for a while. I love that I could go out with my wife and watch the Yankee game with the boys, sorb some QT with the kids, and come back. They're all in bed and Ace is still going. Let's go Devils. Yeah, I didn't plan on it. People's champ, if you smell what the Ace is cooking. Maybe it's the smell of fried popcorn that I noticed heading towards the Rock. This probably has happened before, but I wonder if there was actually an NHL player who commented on a YouTuber's video under a sock account. Oh, I'm sure. I mean, listen, guys are only human. They go on stuff like, KD got busted with his burner accounts on Twitter, I think. Worst game I ever attended, Game 7 against Carolina in 2009. Yeah, it's definitely up there for me, Luke. It could be worse. Oilers media is atrocious. There's a prominent dude in their media that made fun of the death of a player's dog. Wow, that's pretty messed up. Sunday is a must-win versus Anaheim, and it's not even Halloween. I can't believe we're here again. It's not a must-win. The questions remind me of when the media asked Russell Westbrook, did you guys lose this game or did they win this game? Best games themselves. The funniest reporter moment was when the reporter asked Buccaneers head coach Tom Bowles if his team was prepared to play in the frigid Detroit cold, not realizing the Lions play in a dome. Oh, that's terrible. Also, only team I can see a trade for Plot is San Jose for Toffoli. We'd have to give a lot for a 32-year-old that has 3 years left, but who else could see fit sling a swap with? We can't pay Toffoli that money, man. We can't pay Toffoli that money. Worst Devils regular season loss 10-14-19 versus Winnipeg. That was Jack's first NHL game, the home opener. I was there. That was a terrible game. Yeah, they blew a 3 or 4-0 lead, right? I forget all the details, but I remember it was terrible. Well, yeah, if Palat is going the other way, then sure. Obviously, at $6 million, I'd much rather have Toffoli than Palat. It's Taylor ham, egg, and cheese time. Oh, this is Chris, I think, with his lone wolf howling at the moon logo, crying that his New York Yankees lost. All right, that's it. I got to wrap this up. Time flies when you're BSing on a live stream. One time, Damon Severson accidentally favored a tweet from someone replying to me defending him after I said he sucked. I have it screenshotted, and I'm glad to know he saw what I said. Yeah, that's so funny. That is pretty funny. So Palat for Toffoli, what else do we have to give up? I think the Palat has a no move. I don't think there's any way he's going to agree to go there. I think we'd have to like deliver him a suitcase of money under the table. I'd imagine you'd have to give up. I can't see San Jose doing. They just signed him. I've been meaning to check. How's his start? Well, he's got 4 goals and 3 assists in 8 games. Yeah. And a -4 on that San Jose team. Brutal. I was too young to remember, but I remember my dad, a Panthers fan, saying that when NJ scored the game-winning goal in 2 OT in 2012, he was standing in disbelief for 5 minutes. That Game 7 was completely legendary. What a game. That was exactly how I was when Tampa scored with 4 seconds left, Game 2, 2022. If he's not bought out, he loses money. It's good. All right, guys, wrapping up. Thank you all for coming out. This has turned into another impromptu marathon. The Doomsdayers, I guess, got their digs in early and left us with a decent grouping of people who, still have faith in this team. Obviously, the loser point's better than nothing, but still not good enough. A 4-game skid, something must change. I'm hoping to see Curtis McDermott again in the next game. I'm hoping Markstrom has his shit together and that we absolutely just destroy the Ducks at home Sunday night. I will be back again probably before then with some sort of video or two, and then also with the post-game live. Hopefully drinking victory beers and celebrating a victory. But good night to everyone. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all soon. And L. Ron, did you send me that email? I don't think I got one yet. Oh, yeah, I got it. Perfect. I got it. I'll email you back in a second. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.